even works for 4K streaming for movie nights, online gaming, and more. Growing up on the farm in the sticks of Central Alberta, we tried everything.
A big first quarter, 18.6 rebounds. Wembanyama ends with a double-double, 27 and 17. It was a Spurs night, and they're one win from the Western Conference Finals.
Go Starlink.
Summer is calling. Is your vehicle ready for the road trip? Get ready for the season at Nisku Ford with offers that turn up the heat. Right now, you choose how you save. Finance your new vehicle with rates as low as 0%. Or choose massive cash rebates as high as $12,500. Whether you're hauling the boat or packing up the family, we have the Ford you need for your summer adventures. Start your summer upgrade at niskuford.ca. Nisku Ford, above expectations.
Are you overwhelmed by debt and getting nonstop calls from creditors? It can feel like there's no escape. Debt doesn't have to be a life sentence. A single call can
Taking care of the basket.
In your face! The shot is free with a solution.
Richard Carlton.
Together. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
You're getting the lowdown with Low
With
Tide.
Play Alberta, backing the home team goes beyond the bets. That's because your picks have provincial impact. Play Alberta is the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. By investing in the General Revenue Fund, every play, bet, and buy made on Play Alberta helps make a difference across the province. It feels good to know your fund goes further at home. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Right about now, the funk soul.
The Jason Gregor Show.
Make contact. I go have it. That's the barbers.
On Sports 1440.
Richard Carlton. Stewie in her face. The shot is
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
A big first quarter, 18.6 rebounds. Wembanyama ends with a double-double, 27 and 17. It was a Spurs night, and they're one win from the Western Conference Finals.
Well, a terrific Tuesday afternoon. Welcome to the Gregor Show Sports 1440 Sports 1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching the show. Yeah, Cons is so excited to get to his sports update. He's putting it in right away, but we're a little bit away from that. Little bit away from the top of the hour sports update, but that will be coming up a little bit later on in the show. How you doing? I'm Jason Gregor. It's always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province. And tonight, Lotto Max. Your chance to get $15 million and $100,000 prizes at PlayAlberta.ca. Hey, we got lots to discuss on the show today. As anybody who's listening to the show, I'm a big believer, hey, we can all have opinions on stuff, but opinions only go as far as you can back it up, I think, with data or facts. And so we will be looking at a few things today, because yesterday on the show, I wrote the article. I talked about how I thought it was unprofessional with what happened with the Edmonton Oilers and Chris Knobloch, and the fact that they were looking for another coach before firing their coach. And everyone's like, oh, teams do this. No, they don't. Not in the offseason. And so I did a deep dive, and the article should be up any minute here on Oilers Nation, as I looked at all the current head coaches, when they were hired, did it happen during the season? Did it happen in the offseason? How quickly was a replacement? And guess what? Do you know how many coaches in the offseason were fired and had a replacement within a week? One. The Buffalo Sabres. It's the only team. They fired their coach at the end of the season and hired Lindy Ruff 6 days later. The only other team even had a coach within 2 weeks was Colorado way back when Patrick Waugh resigned in August. They didn't think it was coming. He resigned. And then they had, in 9 days, they hired Jared Bednar, who had just won Calder Cup championship in the AHL with at that time was Columbus Blue Jackets team. That's it. So what you say things in the article. I spoke to Elliot Friedman because people are like, oh, Elliot said that this is normal. I'm like, well, I don't think so. I saw the clip, so I talked to Elliot. I got a quote from him. I also got a quote from a current NHL head coach who saw the article and reached out to me. And let's just say and he brought up something interesting that I hadn't even really considered from an angle of a head coach, right? And I thought that was rather fascinating. And truth of the matter is, you look at it, and he basically, because they're just editing the article, so I can't get in. I want to get the exact quote correctly, but he basically said, hey, I've had teams approach me in the summer, and I said, until you have a vacancy, I don't want to talk to you. Essentially, trying to honor a little bit of a code amongst coaches. Right now, he even said, in regular season is different because you understand there's an urgency to replace the coach right away. You got a game tomorrow, the next day. After that, it happens. Right? That's normal. But even then, do you know how many teams, when they fire a coach, even during the season, they actually replace him with an interim head coach? And lots of times, that guy doesn't become their head coach because they wait until the summer when they can interview guys properly and more of them. Right? Even Marty St. Louis, people forget, when he got hired, he got the interim tag. Now, he got it taken off of him. But that's rare. Most guys who get the interim tag, DJ Smith currently, the LA Kings, doesn't work out to a head coach. Rick Bowness and Marty St. Louis, out of the 10 coaches who got an interim tag during the season, and most of them are assistant coaches or a coach who's coaching your AHL team. It's usually who it is. Now, Marty St. Louis was an exception. Rick Bowness was the exception. Both of them eventually got the head coaching title. So we'll go through each team, and any suggestion that this is normal just simply doesn't match to what happens. And even Elliot had a quote that said, he was focused more on coaches. If they know they're on the hot seat, they expect teams to talk to the other coaches. And his last quote was, this situation's different, which it is, right? Chris Knobloch, my understanding in talking to my source, which is a really good source, was that, as of even last week, he was planning on, okay, which assistant coach are you going to replace? Because they really never replaced, Glenn Galton as far as experience goes. So that was something they were looking at. I couldn't say with any sort of certainty whether or not Paul Coffey was coming back or not as assistant coach. I have no idea. So I can't comment on that. We got text coming in already. I have no idea. I know Speck put out a tweet here earlier today that Knobloch is not being fired, but they're expecting it to happen likely by day's end. Well, I said that yesterday in the show. Trust me, the minute this story got out there, Chris Knobloch was done as the head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. You had neutered him. Plain and simple. And you can't, it's not normal. I know some people you want to, I love the Oilers, so I'm going to defend their action. Sometimes it's okay to say, I love the team, made a bad decision. It's not normal. This is not how you conduct business. So that's it. It's not illegal. It's just not the right way to go about it. And now we'll see. So will the Vegas Golden Knights grant Bruce Cassidy permission? I know there was a report saying that the LA Kings had been granted permission, but then reports came out today to say that's not the case. So it's not just Edmonton, it's the Vegas Golden Knights so far haven't given anybody permission to speak to Bruce Cassidy. Now, that's kind of a gray area because he's technically under contract, but his contract was to be the head coach of the team, right? That's what the contract is. The contract doesn't say you're just an employee of the team, we can put you in any role. No. They outline it very specifically. Because a coach, when you get hired to be the head coach, you want to be the head coach, not the assistant coach, not the trainer, right? You're hired to be the head coach. And so he's no longer the head coach. And while they have a contract, I can see where the NHL says you shouldn't really limit him from getting a job elsewhere. You didn't think he was the right guy for your organization anymore, which is fine. You're allowed to do it, but are you allowed to hold him back from other opportunities? But the Edmonton Oilers, it's May 13th now. They're going to be looking for a head coach. You don't have to rush into it. I can go through the timeline. You know how many teams fire their head coach, after the regular season? Some don't hire a coach until June. They take a month. They do interviews, which is now that the Edmonton Oilers, and they haven't done it officially, but it's coming, right? When they announce that Chris Knobloch's no longer the head coach, now you can conduct a search. Now, even if you think Bruce Cassidy, that's the guy you want, why not interview other people? I've talked to so many general managers because when the coach comes in, he has a plan. How does somebody from outside your organization view your team, view your players, right? You can always learn from that. And, you say, hey, this is my plan. I probably want to use this combination, that combination, these guys on the penalty kill. I'd like to implement this system. Okay. Now, if another coach comes in, and even if you think, hey, we really want to hire Bruce Cassidy, why wouldn't you talk to other people that you respect? Because if you're going to interview someone, you obviously respect them. They might see something that Cassidy didn't bring up or you didn't bring up, and you're like, oh, geez, that's not a bad idea. And hey, what's the one thing most coaches will tell you? They borrow a lot of drills from other coaches at any level. So you borrow drills, you borrow strategies. Hey, that might work. We hadn't thought about that. The old adage, you don't know what you don't know. So now you will have time. You don't have to have a head coach by June 1st. Heck, you don't need one by June 10th. You would like one. And even by the draft, I'm not sure it's a must. It's more so about potential trades. And we do know that certain times of the year, the window of trades is heightened, obviously leading up to the trade deadline and obviously leading up to and right after the draft. Historically, that's where we see a lot of the trades in the NHL. So you probably want your head coach in place, I would say, by June 15th. Because you have a trade offer, you talk to, hey, I want to bring in this guy. And the coach's like, God, no, I don't want to play that guy. Right? Like, that's why I never really got on board with that suggestion that Chris Knobloch was, going against what management thought. Every GM I've ever spoke to over the years has told me, I don't coach the players because if I tell the coach, I want you to play Bob with Tim and Sid, and then Bob tanks it with Tim and Sid, and then you come back to GM, well, what the hell are you doing? And the guy's like, I didn't want to do that. You told me to do it. So it's hard to hold the coach accountable when you're the one doing what you want. You have to trust the coach. You hire the coach to let them coach. Now, if they essentially sewer themselves with their decisions, then they can live with it, right? It's like in most cases, you want your coaches to pick their coaching staff, because if it doesn't work and this coach isn't prepared or this coach doesn't show up on time or whatever the coach does, you can't say to the GM, well, you told me to hire him, right? Now you can have conversations and input, of course, as a general manager to discuss it with them. But at the end of the day, you have to allow your coach to make his decisions. If they work, he usually gets a new contract. If they don't work out, he's gone. And I just don't think it would be overly fair to say, hey, I want you to play this guy with this. Then it doesn't work. Well, guess what? Now you're fired. So, because it's not, people are like, well, the coach is coaching, right? The GM should not be the puppet master from the press box pulling the strings on who plays with who. So I never necessarily agreed on that. There is a little bit of urgency to want to get it done now because Toronto's in the mix as well now for a head coach. They relieved Craig Berube of his head coaching duties today. Not a real surprise. A lot of people thought that was coming based on A, they missed the playoffs. B, haven't had much success overall. And you have a new GM. And that gets me to one final point, and then we'll tell you who's coming up on the show today. So a lot of people said, well, you know what, this happens often. So I went through every team in the NHL, all the 32 hires. Now, Knobloch, of course, was hired in season. And there's, I think there's been, of the current coaches, because obviously some teams have fired multiple coaches over that time. I didn't go through every firing since John Cooper's been in the league, because there's way too many. But he's obviously the longest serving head coach in the NHL. He got hired in March of 2013. He got promoted from their AHL team, became their head coach late in the year. I think it was like March 25th to be exact. So I didn't go through it, but I went through every organization's hire, their most recent hire, whatever it was. Some obviously is as early as 4 games left in the regular season for the Islanders. So those have happened. But the only team who had a remotely similar situation that made it look like they had their mind made up on another coach before they fired their head coach in the offseason was the Nashville Predators. But even that situation's different because they got a new GM. Barry Trotz took over for David Poile. And they had their head coach. And then on July 1st, they made the change. And they brought in a new head coach. Fired the head coach, brought in a new head coach the next day. So obviously they had talked about it, and they felt like Brunette was the better choice, and they brought in Brunette, and Hines went away. But that was a new GM. This is not a new GM. This is a GM who actually signed Chris Knobloch to a 3-year contract extension back on October 3rd. So think about that. 3, 4, 5. That's not even, it's 7 months ago. Now he changed his mind. So you can't say it's, wow. Because, hey, while he didn't originally hire Knobloch, he decided that he was worthy of a 3-year extension only 7 months ago. It hasn't even kicked in yet. So no other situation is even remotely the same. So don't go around telling everybody, yeah, other teams do this. No, they don't. No, they don't. It's misleading and simply incorrect. Coming up on the show today, we're going to hear, we got a lot of Elks to get to. We're going to hear from head coach Mark Killam. Also, middle linebacker Nick Anderson. He had a Rookie of the Year season 2 years ago. Then last year got injured. He's come in. He was actually here way earlier, spent the offseason in Edmonton, actually sat in on coaches' meetings. So we'll talk to Nick coming up right away. Hear about that. We got your Remchuk will be by. Adam Scully, talk a little PGA Championship, which gets going tomorrow. Who do you like in that one? Justin Michael will join us. Avs and Wild. We got Speck. We got Cam Tate. Matthew Shinetti will be by. The World Cup of Soccer, baby. It's got right around the corner. I can't wait. God, it's going to be awesome. So some key injuries, though, for lots of teams. So we'll get to that. Is Alphonso Davies kind of re-aggravated his hamstring injury? Is he going to play? So we'll get to all of that. Last night in the NHL, the Buffalo Sabres is, okay, can we all agree that was way too long of a review? Like back-to-back. What are we doing? 12 minutes? Come on now. Like, I saw the review right away. It's like the puck's across the line. Why the hell did it take so long? Like, that was clear the puck was in. Then you review it again for now goalie interference. Jeez. But come on. Why did it even take that long? The puck, I watched it once. And you're like, well, look at the post. There's the puck. Like, his glove was way behind. Like, that was the easiest one ever. What took so long? Like, you got to find a way. This is the playoffs, man. I understand you want to get it right, but it shouldn't be that difficult. It shouldn't be a 12-minute review. Sucks the life out of everything. And then you had, the Montreal Canadiens. The Sabres, they could have folded there because Montreal scored very quickly right after that. It looked like it was a 2-0 game. Suddenly it's 1-1. And you're thinking, uh-oh. But then the Sabres. What did we talk about yesterday, Connor Halley? The Sabres had gone 14 years without the playoffs. It looked like back in November it was going to stretch to 15. They were in last place in the Eastern Conference. They turned it around. Well, in their franchise history, They're 0-14 when they trail a series 2-1. But then Tage Thompson in the second period got a bounce that I don't even know how to describe. That is a freaky one. Dobish wasn't even out of the net. Like sometimes, we see the goalie jump out of the net. He's trying to get behind there to stop the ring around. Nope. Goes off the partition. He's not even in the net. No. He was in the net. That is a very strange bounce. But it was a bounce they got for the Sabres. And another 2 power play goal game from Buffalo, and they win 3-2. And now the series is tied at 2. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen came in and played well. Meanwhile, the Ducks, they lose in overtime. Vegas is now 3-0 in overtime. They've been good when it gets to extra time, man. The Ducks had an early lead, then they tied it. Owen Zellweger scores his first, and Dorofeev. You know what? Hey, that's a pretty good shot. But man, speaking of Dorofeev, did you go back and watch their first goal? Like Chris Kreider must be having nightmares. Like you look at their first goal and even the game-winning goal, the Ducks had it. Those are giveaways. Oilers fans, you probably are like, oh, I've seen that before. Possession in your own zone, quick turnover within seconds, back of your net. Good night, Irene. And now Anaheim has to win at home in Game 6 to force a Game 7. Tonight, Colorado could punch their ticket to the conference final, taking on Minnesota. No Brodin again, no Eriksson Ek. Not looking necessarily great for Minnie to Winnie tonight. We'll take a quick break. We'll return to health, man. It's ultra important, especially in sports. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
What's that? Is that actually spring? Like no snow squalls or bad weather tomorrow? It's actually spring? Well, GS Construction welcomes the warmer weather because that means we can really get to work. Now, it doesn't matter if there was bad weather. This is our time to shine. But we can't do it without good people to do that work. That's why GS Construction is hiring pipe layers, topmen, and heavy equipment operators. If you want to join a team who loves their work, visit gsconstruction.ca today.
May brings more of what you're looking for at Wolf GMC Buick. The selection, never better. The savings up to $12,000 when you combine cash discounts on your new 2026 Sierra 1500 pickup. Up to $1,750 in cash rebates on remaining 2025 Terrain SUVs. Plus 0% financing up to 72 months on most models. And ask about the truck trade-in bonus of up to $1,500 on select new in-stock Sierra 1500s.
Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
Our new McCafe crafted sodas just drinks or something more? Like Sprite Berry Bliss, Creamy Strawberry Coke, and Orange Dream. All swirled with fizzy flavor and topped with silky cold foam. Only at McDonald's. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
Hot coffee, hotter takes, and the sports stories that matter. Check out Kevin Carriers weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440. Be part of the conversation. 833-401-1440.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada. Properties include the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility in Nisku, features 2 sheets of ice, a 1,600-seat arena, as well as Summit Restaurant. Learn more at silentice.com.
When life unexpectedly changes, it can leave us feeling unbalanced, uncertain, and unsure of how to move forward. But you don't have to go through it alone. I'm Corey Anderson with Fairway Divorce Solutions. Our team helps reestablish balance, guiding you through your divorce with compassion, clarity, and support. Fairway has helped more than 6,500 families across Canada find a path towards a peaceful, fair resolution. With 2 offices in Edmonton, we're here to make your journey easier. Discover your options at Fairway Divorce.
The tents are up and the deals are out. The Brick's biggest sale of the season is on now. Take up to 60% off clearance items in the tents. Sofas start at $3.99 and save up to 50% on select mattresses. Get a sofa, coffee table, mattress, bed frame, and dining set, all for less than $1,500. Only at the Bricks 10 sale. See in store for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
Portions of this hour brought to you by eWell. Helping you finish your electrical project is their goal. From pot lights to electrical panels, the gear you need is at ewell.ca or in person at one of their Edmonton area locations. ewell.ca, your partners in power.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
$2:23. It is Wednesday. My goodness. Oof. Tough day. Tough week, man. Going quick, I guess. Oh, next week's going to be even shorter. Awesome. I do know that. It's Holiday Monday. Victoria Day. The day off. Also, it's Green and Gold Fan Day out in Spruce Grove. Weather looks good. It's supposed. I know it kind of sucks for May long weekend. The weather right now looks like we're going to get some rain here the next few days, but trust me, I'm not one to complain for rain. You know, ideally, if I'm selfish, like let's just rain from like 10 p.m. right through. Rain hard all overnight, and then it's nice during the day. But that's wishful thinking. So, but it is Wednesday. Jeez, tough day. Tough day. Things are flying, man. I can't believe what happened on Tuesday. Totally forgot it. So, there you go. Also, Dylan Cease on the mound tonight. Can the Jays get a win? Geez, scored 5 in the 8th inning last night. Looked good. No, couldn't get it done. Lost in extra innings. They've lost 5 straight to Tampa, not 5 straight overall, 5 straight to Tampa. And it's 20 games now, Cons. I think we're going to play the game today with all of our listeners. So it's 20 games. That's 20 games without a home run for Vladdy Guerrero. Text in your number on how many games until he hits a home run. So, like, if he hits it tonight, that means it's 20 games without a home run. Right? Because tonight would be his 21st, but it's 20 without. So, is it 20? Is it 21? Is it 30? I'm just curious because, man, right now, it doesn't look like that guy could hit a home run in slow pitch. He's not getting a lot of, not getting under the ball very often. And if he is, he's fouling it back. He just looks lost right now at the plate. It's crazy. Like this guy in the playoffs was money. Looked unreal. Right now, not so much. Not at all. It is the Gregor Show presented by playalberta.ca. And hey, we do have some Jason Gregor Show odds boost specials for you, as we always do at playalberta.ca. A little Okamoto Jays parlay action. Also, we have Avs and Nathan McKinnon's on fire. And what about the Pistons? Down to a best of 3. It's been and their opposition can't win it on the road and they can't lose at home. 0-5 on the road, 6-0 at home. So if you're Detroit, you're like, okay, well, we'll take that trend because that means we'll win the series in 7. So we'll see. Let's go in the room now, brought to you by Action Electrical, the most diversified electrical contractor in Alberta with 4 divisions: project, service, testing, and solar, both commercial and residential. Remember, commercial buildings, if you install solar, you can qualify for a 30% federal tax credit. Nice. Find out more, actionelectrical.net. And today I caught up with the middle linebacker, number 48 of the Green and Gold, Nick Anderson. Do you appreciate your health more now that you have it back?
Man, I do, man. And really, just like I told the young guys in training camp, the days that you feel the little nags and nicks are the days that you got to stay on top of it, because that's what happened to me last year, thinking I was, bulletproof, couldn't get hurt, can play through anything, it caught up with me. And so I just, advise everybody else, man, you got to stay on top of your body, because if you can't play, you can't really help the team. And so that's been my biggest thing the whole offseason, just being more aware, of my body, taking care of it, staying in the training room every day, and making sure I'm staying on top of the little things.
my understanding was you sat in on some coaches meetings in the off season. What did you learn in those meetings? What was the reason why you wanted to be part of that?
Man, just overall, I feel like that interest started when I got hurt during the season. Instead of me just saying, okay, I'm going to focus on my rehab and, just worry about me, I picked up a clipboard and I told JC, okay, I'll chart for you, and in doing that, I was able to just understand schematically the way that he calls the game. I was able to see things from his lens, to understand, okay, in this situation, this is why he calls what he calls. And so me standing up here in the offseason, I used it as an opportunity to say, okay, well, since I'm planning on playing Mike linebacker, I want to be connected with the coaching staff like this. So that way, when I'm on the field and they make a call in a certain situation, I automatically know why we're making this call, what we're trying to defend, and what situation we're in. And so I just feel like it just grew my football IQ. And then also, with it only being my third year up here, and the CFL being such a different game, I just wanted to use it as an opportunity for me to go mentally off the field.
You had such a spectacular rookie season, right? And then last year, that's kind of the ebbs and flows sometimes of pro sports, and mentally you learn about yourself. But you look at the defense as a middle linebacker, you're one of the captains really in the defense, calling the plays, everything like that. And how much more confident do you feel in what you're going to be, the defense can do this year when you look at yourself as well as the guys around you? There's not a lot of new faces. Most of your guys have started before and played on defense.
First and foremost, I would like to say that everything happens for a reason. And I try to find the light in every dark room. And so me getting injured last year did a lot for me because, like you said, it takes a toll on you mentally, but it also really shows you who you are without the sport. And so I feel like I took a lot of time outside of me being in the facility to really just focus on, okay, what is Nick Anderson without football? And it just brought me so much of peace and so much understanding in myself to where now I can play the position confidently and freely without worrying about different nuances off the field. And just overall, man, just coming off an injury, it just gives you the opportunity to just, relate to the guys more, and it gives you a different appreciation for being on the field. And so now that I'm back on the field and back with the guys, I tell the guys every day, man, it's a blessing to be out here because this game can be snatched away from you like that. You can be at one of the biggest highlights of your career coming off the best season. And then the next year, you just battling injury and you want to play, but you can't go and things like that. So it just teaches you really just to have the attitude of gratitude every time you touch the field. And that's the energy that I bring to the defense, man. Just understanding that every play, could be your last, man. That's why we have to go out there, play with tenacity, play with drive, play with passion, because it can be snatched away from you like that, man. So I just feel so blessed to just be in a room with familiar guys, be in a room with guys that, rallied around me last year when I was injured, and just to see the smiles on their faces for me to be back on the field, it's electrifying for myself. And so I just, know it's my due diligence as being the Mike linebacker to just understand that it's a big role. It's not just, me being a young guy in the wheel and just a playmaker, and, Niles running the show. Okay, Niles has passed me the torch. Now it's my turn, to run the show and, just be that leader, man. And shout out to Niles, man. He was a great leader. He did things the right way, man. I learned so much from him, man. And before he left and departed, he told me, he said, you got the keys now. Where Edmonton is going to go defensively, you're going to be the driver of that, man. And I just take it as a big responsibility to just take that torch and run with it, man.
How do you feel you can run with that? You look around, they obviously got Joel on one side. Mogensen got to come in last year. He's got some experience. Logan at the other linebacker. I know you work with the DBs, but what do you think is going to be maybe the most important part? Because you are essentially now kind of the leader in the linebacking core and up the defense.
I would say brotherhood, because schematically we're doing the same thing that we did last year. We just changed up a little bit of there, a little bit of here and there. But football, doesn't really change, especially defensively. So we got the same schematics. It's all about just coming together and really understanding how each other's plays, being able to get comfortable and being able to build that brotherhood to where you're willing to die, fight, scratch, claw for the guy beside you. And I feel like that's what we're, doing each and every day. And shout out to the management for being able to retain the guys. That's hard in pro sports to be able to bring familiar faces back. But we got a defense that, have really bonded and clicked together. A lot of times sometimes you have guys that just show up and they just do their job and they go home and they never talk to each other outside of being in the facility. But that's not us, man. We've gotten together ever since guys started, coming in from the off season, spending a lot of time with each other, going out to eat. And it's the little things like that that really makes the camaraderie to go out there and win a championship. And so I'm just grateful to be a part of it. Grateful to be a part of this defense. Even looking at our coaching staff, our coaches are close-knit, especially defensively. So that just makes us be even closer. I'm excited to see what we're going to do this year.
Coach Killam has talked about the need and the importance to start fast for this team, right? You finished the season pretty well last year, but you're in such a deep hole you can't climb out of it. How do you ensure that this team is going to be ready to go to start the year? What are your key needs do you feel for this team to be ready?
Man, just really like Coach Killam said, man, getting these good reps in practice and getting these good reps in the off season, because we're blessed to have a schedule where we can go hard all the training camp and we can take the momentum that we're carrying in training camp straight into week 1, and then we can reset, everybody take a breather, and then we reset and reload for a 10-game stretch. And so I feel like the way the schedule just aligns, it gives us the opportunity to really just build a momentum now and build the importance of, that's what we preach every day in the team meetings: start fast, start quick, execution, knowing what you got. We've already started prepping and looking at, Ottawa. No disrespect to the preseason games, but, because the emphasis is just let's start fast. We're not going to be that Edmonton team that goes 1-6 or 0-5, and then gets the ball going. And then shout out to the management again. You're able to start fast when you're bringing in guys that already know what's going on. This will be my first year in Edmonton where I'm coming in and, I know the head coach, I know the defense coordinator, I know the expectations, I know, the linebacker that's playing beside me in and out. And so just to have that familiarity and that understanding of the system and everything that we're doing organizationally is going to give us the opportunity to just hit the ground running come week 1.
Well, there you go. Nick Anderson, ready to roll as the middle linebacker and kind of the veteran now in that group. And, defense returning a lot of faces. Defensive coordinator, they got continuity, and continuity in sports is a big thing. Now, obviously, you need some talent, and I think they've got some talented players. Their offensive line, just watching in practice, I think for fans when they go to the games, maybe you'll go watch practice, like it is night and day. Just the speed, the tenacity on their offensive line this year to last year, it's wild. We got Bordner and O'Donnell on the left side of the line. There's a great competition between Beard and Corte for center. 2 veteran guys. One of them is going to be the center. The other guy's likely going to be the 6th offensive lineman. That's just how it goes. And Brett Boyko will likely be the 7th offensive lineman. He was a starting tackle last year. Don't see that occurring this year for the Elks. Or for him. Now, obviously, injuries can occur, and I think he could probably play better than he did last season. But right now, there's lots of reasons I think to be excited about the Elks and how they look. Now you got to win, right? But you bring in Wood Manzi, right? Jordan Murray, 2 new guys on the right side of the line from guard to tackle, and so if Boyko and Corte are your backups. Not to mention, like Mark Evans, he started games last year for them. So they've got 8 guys who started games. So you got some depth on the O-line, which I think is massive. If you don't have a good O-line, Connor Halley, it's really difficult to win.
No, I mean, I like those guards that you have there, bringing in Wood Manzi, some beast right there, kind of set up the run, especially in the interior. And you're right, you need those. Like, not to jinx them, I don't believe in them specifically, but someone's going to get hurt. It's going to happen, throughout the football season. Someone's going to get rolled up on, and to have a guy that you can bring in there that has starting experience in the past, isn't going to be overwhelmed by the moment, is absolutely massive. And I'm not telling you anything you don't know. We know this. It's a physical sport, and that's going to happen. But you really do need like 7 capable starters when it comes to the offensive line, because it's going to happen. So really good to see that depth added on for the Edmonton Elks, and the priority in the offseason to make sure that was corrected.
Oh yeah, it's huge. It's it will be interesting to see how they do. I think we're going to talk to Mark Killam today, and we'll play that interview a little bit later on. But I think we might see something a little unorthodox in preseason from the Green and Gold this year. I'm going to have to dig into it a little bit more, but and what now when I say unorthodox, usually you don't have guys play very much at all. I'm not saying that guys are going to play full games or anything, but I wonder if we might see an increase in some playing time. He talked about it today, mentioned it many times. They need a good start. The Elks have been brutal, like beyond brutal, out of the gate the last few years. Right, the season was over halfway through. Yeah, he had good second halves, but by then you're in such a deep hole you couldn't get out of it. And I think their whole priority is to come out and have a good start. So we'll hear from Kilma coming up in the next hour. We got Yaremchuk. When we return, though, one of the biggest sporting events in the world is coming to Canada in only a few weeks. We'll discuss it. The injuries are mounting for lots of different teams. So we'll get to all that and more when we return. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hi, I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. We've been tightening bolts and redefining our industry for 25 years. Yes, a quarter century, and we're just getting started. Check us out at cantork.com. Our tools age better than I do.
Struggling to find skilled workers? What if you could fill your talent pipeline with motivated, pre-vetted youth and receive funding to support your efforts? At Careers The Next Generation, we connect Alberta employers with interns in skilled trades, IT, agriculture, forestry, and more. All WCB covered, high school accredited, safety trained, and ready to contribute from day one. With 83% of RAP students continuing their apprenticeships after high school, investing in youth today means securing your workforce for tomorrow. Don't wait. Visit careersnextgen.ca to get started.
Your protein drink should work as hard as you do. That's why Booster Juice is hitting the gym harder than ever, brother. Meet your new gym buddies, the Way Too Good and Green Gains Booster Mixers. 2 new ripped and refreshing menu options that bench some serious protein. Perfect for pre or post-workout. Way Too Good and Green Gains Booster Mixers taste like motivation. So what are you waiting for? Let's go!
Booster Juice. Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Get the lowdown with Low Tide. Weekdays from noon to 2 on Sports 1440. He's seen it all and then some. From stats to stories, he breaks it down like no one else. Proud to be Edmonton's sports leader. Sports 1440.
Everything is going to be okay. If your debt has you feeling like you're in a free fall, you have options. I'm Dan McDicken, a licensed insolvency trustee with Faber. Becoming debt-free is possible, and a personal bankruptcy or consumer proposal will get you there. Schedule your free Faber Focus session at faber.ca today. You'll learn how a consumer proposal allows you to eliminate your debt by paying a percentage of the amount owed without interest. At Faber, we'll tackle your debt.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
You don't just need property services, you need problems handled. HireGood provides cleanup, debris removal, site monitoring, and safety attendance across Edmonton. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact because our team is built on second chances and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit hiregood.ca or call and mention Jason Gregor for a first-time discount. HireGood. Stable jobs create stable lives.
The Ford It's a Big Deal event is on now. Get a big deal on a 2026 F-150 STX with Black Appearance Package. Visit your Alberta Ford store today.
Hey there, it's Brandon Douglas from Sports 1440. If you're tired of slow, unreliable internet connections like I am, check out Starlink. It's fast, reliable, even in bad weather, and even works for 4K streaming for movie nights, online gaming, and more. Growing up on the farm in the sticks of central Alberta, we tried everything to get reliable internet, but we're always left with buffering video and half-loaded websites. There's nothing worse than losing your connection while streaming the big game. I'm getting mine set up soon and can't wait. If you're ready for better internet, order online in 2 minutes at starlink.com/radio or call 1-800-GO-STARLINK.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
Contractors, spring cleanup is coming. It's time to get your lawnmowers, aerators, power rakes, lawn vacs, and more serviced at the Lawnmower Hospital. Hey, the longer you wait, the longer you'll have to wait in line later. Their service department gets crazy busy as the season rolls on, so get in now while it's calm. For quick service on top brands like Bluebird, Ryan Turf, Husqvarna, and more, check out lawnmowerhosp.com.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
Portions of this hour are brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also, a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.244. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for listening to the show. Thanks for watching the show. Text lines humming again. I love it. I always chuckle when people that go, the offseason slows down. No, it doesn't. People get more fired up, man. There's lots, especially when a team loses. Lots of guys, we like to solve problems. It's naturally what we do. It's great. And, hey, I don't think the owners have that many problems, but seem to be creating more than they should, in my humble opinion. So we'll get more to that. But also, how many of you are fired up for the 2026 FIFA World Cup that is now officially less than a month away? Of course, Canada's first game is on June 12th, but the first games in the tournament will begin on the 11th. Mexico and South Africa, South Korea taking on Czechia. Canada is going to take on Bosnia and Herzegovina on the 12th of June. I can't wait, man. It's going to be awesome. Canada's looks like there's a really good chance they could have their first ever win at the World Cup, and who knows? Maybe they get to the elimination round. That'd be fun. So let's talk about it. Let's get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by the Silent Ice Center. And Gene Simmons is coming later this year in November. Small venue, very intimate. It's an awesome place for concerts. If you haven't been, I highly recommend it. So check it out. Get your tickets now at silenticecenter.com. As we talk a little World Cup, Matthew Shinetti, TSN Soccer joins us. Matthew, how you doing, man?
Oh, pretty good, Jason. How are you?
Oh, I am. I'm excited. I'm not going to lie. Obviously, the World Cup, but there was a long time people thought the World Cup was never going to come to Canada because, a few decades ago, we were never really competitive. But now our team's pretty competitive on the men's side. The women obviously being very competitive for quite some time. But you look at, I guess let's start first of all, because injuries for a lot of teams, and specifically for Canada, Alphonso Davies re-aggravated his hamstring. And, what would they say? I think they said it was 4 to 5 weeks, which puts it really close to June 12th. What do you think the chances are he's playing in game one?
If you're betting your house on it, I wouldn't necessarily do that. I mean, I expect, given the medical team around Canada Soccer and certainly knowing Alphonso and what this means to him. Remember, we started this journey in 2018 with Alphonso, a much younger Alphonso Davies at the FIFA Congress before the 2018 World Cup in Russia, proclaiming his love for Canada and how much he would want to have a men's World Cup in our country. And that started us on the path. And it was pretty inspirational to a lot of the guys on the team right now. I'm speaking specifically of someone like Nico Segura, who, as soon as he saw Alphonso Davies make that proclamation at the FIFA Congress, he said he was going to play for Canada and will likely be on the squad. But having said that, Alphonso Davies really is the measuring stick for just the casual fan of where they think this team can go in the World Cup. But the fact is this: he has had significant hamstring issues since he tore his ACL recovered from that and has hurt his right hamstring. Now he's hurt his left hamstring. And Canada Soccer said last week that they're going to be working alongside Bayern Munich, his club, and looking to get as many soft tissue specialists as they can. And if we go back to when Davies initially hurt his knee, the uproar that caused between Canada Soccer, Alphonso Davies' team, and Bayern Munich, and the talk of lawsuits and recriminations, and that certainly died down. But you could tell behind the scenes how sensitive this is for every party involved. And certainly we've been seeing the reports out of Germany talking about Alphonso Davies' mental health, and whether it's 4 to 5 weeks or 5 to 6 weeks. I have been around this medical staff with the men's national team for over half a decade. They will be very, very careful with this because of what Alphonso Davies means. Canada doesn't have another Alphonso Davies, but I want to stress this. The sky is not falling. Yes, there have been injuries throughout. I mean, look at the lineup. Almost every position group has had a major injury in it, from Promise David up amongst the strikers. It's growing more and more likely that the tight end size goal poacher that Canada has will be at camp. Whether or not he'll be healthy enough will be determined based on an MRI. Then certainly we've now seen Ali Ahmed, who's been injured after playing with his club Norwich City, and Richie Larea has been injured, and Moise Lobito has been injured, and Alistair Johnson is now coming back. He's playing right now for Celtic. So it has looked a little touch and go for a while, but Canada has depth. And you talked about the excitement ahead of that first game. Everyone should be excited, and everyone should have high expectations of this team, because Jesse Marsh has wanted to build a winner that can physically and psychologically and emotionally get ready for an event that, even though many on this Canadian team went to Qatar, no one can understand what it's like, the magnitude of playing in a home World Cup. Jesse Marsh has built this team tactically in depth to be able to handle it. We're going to see that in just under a month.
Yeah, there is a lot of injuries. It's kind of wild. So you look at the Canadian squad and you look at their matchup, and on paper, it's pretty good, right? Italy not coming over, it probably sucks for the organizers, I would think, and all Italian fans. But from a Canadian perspective, this is on paper, it's a pretty good match. How do they ensure that it goes from paper to actual results on the pitch?
That's an excellent question. And if you look at this group, it presents every kind of opportunity for Canada, not only to advance out of the group, but to be competitive and win the group. And remember, if Canada finishes first in Group B, they will stay in Vancouver for that round, the new round of 32 in this expanded 48-team World Cup, I should say. And if they win that game, they will have the round of 16 game in Vancouver. That's all on the table.
Okay.
But this group also presents a lot of pitfalls for Canada. No one should be overlooking Bosnia and Herzegovina. This is a team that, even though Canada has more depth, they are ranked higher in the FIFA World Rankings than Bosnia and Herzegovina. If anyone saw the footage coming out of Bosnia after they qualified for the World Cup after beating Italy on penalties, that country can't wait. And certainly Canadians will understand, having watched Canada face Croatia. Now, the quality of Bosnia is not the same as the quality of Croatia, but they are a very proud nation. And when you look at the countries that participate in the World Cup, many of them, football is all they have. They pour their entire national identities into it. And I fully expect that inside those first 10, 15, 20 minutes against Canada, Bosnia is going to throw every single thing at Canada to try to unsettle them, because really Bosnia is playing with house money. Many would not have expected them to qualify, and they have. And to be honest, yes, Canada certainly can have a ton of expectations, but they cannot walk into that matchup thinking they're just going to roll over Bosnia. And that will be the messaging from Jesse Marsh. And then in that second game, they face Qatar. Now, 3.5 years ago, Canada faced Qatar I believe I was there. It was in Bratislava, Slovakia. And they beat them 2-0. But at the same time, Qatar is the two-time defending Asian Cup champions. Canada, yes, has more technical ability, has greater depth than Qatar. But Canada also has a tendency of playing down to teams. And we all remember what happened to them in the quarterfinals against Honduras in the Gold Cup, which was a massive disappointment, because Canada should have at least gotten to the finals of that tournament. And then there's Switzerland. And Granit Xhaka, who was the captain of Sunderland and the longtime Swiss midfielder, was on Park the Bus with Stephen Caldwell and Kevin Kilbane. And the one thing everyone needs to know about Switzerland, over, I believe, the last 4, 5, 6 World Cups that they've been in, they get out of the group stage. They don't do well in the knockout rounds, but they are tacticians in the group stage. Canada has a lot to play for, but they have to be very, very, very prepared, because if they don't, it is absolutely a possibility that they can get points out of every single one of their games. But there's also a possibility, too, that if they're not prepared, they could be on the wrong side of every single one of those results.
Matthew Shinetti joins us. So, Matthew, when you look at it from like a matchup perspective and tactically, like Bosnia-Herzegovina, they're not really going to attack, right? And I don't think they're really going to be that overly intimidated by playing, in Canada per se, because of the style they play. So how do you think, because the first game is very important, get off to a good start, everybody can exhale. I think it's a little bit easier, especially when it's a team that people feel you should beat. How do you expect Canada to approach that game tactically?
The name that everyone needs to hold their breath for is Moise Babito. Alphonso Davies is incredibly talented, explosive sprint athlete. Obviously, we saw what he did in Qatar, scoring Canada's first ever goal at a men's World Cup. But the guy that everyone needs to be healthy is Moise Babito. Moise Babito plays the center back position. He is your big puck handling defenseman, if to use that comparison. And he has size, he has speed, and he is incredibly savvy. And he would be going up against a player named Edin Dzeko, who played for Manchester City, played for Roma, has a ton of goals, a ton of trophies, and he's 40 years old. He's the elder statesman of that team, but he is also the heartbeat of that team. And anyone who watched that game that Bosnia played, getting to that playoff final against Italy, would have seen the way that Dzeko plays, especially on set pieces. The matchup you want to see is Moise Babito against Edin Dzeko, especially on those set pieces, free kicks and corner kicks. If Moise Babito is healthy, and he hasn't played since October because he was dealing with a stress fracture, then broke his leg, he is on pace to be ready for the World Cup. He won't have a ton of playing time. And he's going up against a guy who maybe he has more physical capabilities at his age in his wily mid-20s.
Yep.
But Edin Dzeko, he knows how to absolutely break down defenses when it comes to set pieces. Tactically, Canada is going to have to be very savvy when it comes to those set pieces. And, they went out and got their own set piece coach to be able to deal with situations like that. And certainly over the last year and a half have shown growth in that. But if, you're right in saying, Jason, that Bosnia may not consistently attack them, but those moments they can exploit, especially if that defense isn't up to game readiness for a World Cup. And this is something I stress all the time to people. I've been very lucky to be one of the few people in Canadian media to watch a World Cup game from the sidelines. Whatever you watch on TV, it is far faster than you think. These are Olympic level runners who process their physical capabilities and have to execute on a dime. Canada has to be ready for that. Moise Babito has to be ready for that, because someone like Edin Dzeko, he has the resume to make Canada pay.
If you look at it from an overall view, is there a favorite or two that you see going in?
In terms of Canada's group or the rest of the rest of the tournament?
Everybody.
Spain, France. Certainly, everyone will always tie hopes to England and that proverbial song, "It's Coming Home." But I look certainly at the way that Spain has played over the last few years. We all remember the run they had, winning Euro 2008, the World Cup in 2010, and Euro 2012. Certainly, they've oftentimes been criticized because of their short passing game and how they can just pass teams into oblivion. But they are the reigning European champions, and they're coming in. And certainly, there's been a lot of concern about Lamine Yamal's health. He didn't play for Barcelona on the weekend when they clinched the La Liga title over Real Madrid. But if they're running on all cylinders, man, they are not only fun to watch. They will absolutely rip teams open. But of course, what you saw when Lionel Messi and Argentina won, and I saw it a little bit too here in Toronto when Messi and Inter Miami came to face Toronto FC, there is still a worldwide appeal for Lionel Messi. And if he is on that squad at in his late 30s, there will be a lot of people who will hope that he wins it again. Just the magnitude of the power of certainly his personality and his talent. But this is unlike a World Cup that we've ever seen before. This is a World Cup stacked on a World Cup. This is, I believe, before there's something like 60-odd matches in the typical 32-team World Cup. At a 48-team World Cup, that's 104 matches. So it not only leaves a lot of room for error for some of those favorites, especially in an expanded 32-team knockout round. But it also provides a stage for some incredible stories. I mean, some incredible stories in Qatar in 2022, and the lasting impact that tournament had, and what it did for certainly the worldwide appeal of football is great. But everyone universally thought that was a tremendous tournament. This tournament has a lot to live up to. Expanded teams, more host cities. But I am right now, especially in Canada, especially in Toronto and Vancouver, I really think, given the diversity of our country and how much the World Cup already means to so many people, and what I think this Canadian team can do, I think we're set for a pretty special June.
And lastly, who do you think is going to be the starting netminder for Canada?
Ooh, that's a tough one. And you know what? I am not going to go ahead and put any money on it, because I've been around Jesse Marsh for the last 2 years, and I have no idea what he's thinking. But I will cast everyone's eyes to the recent game that Maxime Crépeau in Orlando City played against Dane St. Clair and Inter Miami. Inter Miami was up 3-1 at halftime. But the only reason that Orlando stayed in that game and eventually won and created what many are now calling one of the greatest comebacks in MLS history was because of the number of the saves that Maxime Crépeau made. Now, I say that while also knowing that Dane St. Clair was the MLS goalkeeper of the year last year. They both have their weaknesses. Maxime Crépeau is certainly undersized when compared with Dane St. Clair, but we saw what he did during Copa America in 2024 and the penalty saves he made in that quarterfinal win over Venezuela, getting Canada to that great semifinal opportunity against Argentina. And then, of course, we know that Dane St. Clair consistently plays very well over the course of a whole season. How does Jesse Marsh factor those two things in? And really, we can go ahead and name either Crépeau or St. Clair, but their defense, we talk about all the injuries, has to be healthy and has to find stability. And that's why the game in Edmonton against Uzbekistan and the game in Montreal against Ireland are so key. Because you really want to, if Jesse Marsh is going to make a decision, he's going to have to make it in that first game against Uzbekistan. Because if he wants to go with one guy, he can't be platooning guys in the final two warm-up games before a World Cup. A goaltender needs confidence. I mean, that's true in any sport, but especially for a team going into a World Cup. Canada needs its defense to get healthier, but it also needs a guy between the sticks it trusts. Whether it's Crépeau or St. Clair, they're going to give up a little bit. Crépeau can make some tremendous saves. Dane St. Clair has a lot of attitude and confidence and is a bigger goalkeeper. But Jesse Marsh, when he makes that decision, he's going to have to live with it.
Awesome stuff, Matt. We look forward to it. Can't wait. Less than a month. Appreciate your time.
Cheers, Jason. Thank you.
There you go. That's Matthew Schnetti from TSN. Good breakdown, man. I'm pumped. How many of you are going to a World Cup game? Like that would be an event. I've been to a game in Europe. And I'm telling you, it was one of the best sporting events ever. But it wasn't. There's just something about when it's for your country. And everybody gets involved. You know, no one cares if you lean right or left or any of that garbage. It's just like, hey, you got the red and white and you're ready to go. Man, it will be fun. I know one of my buddies, him and his pals, they lucked out in one of those draws and got some seats to the two games in Vancouver in the prelim round. No joke, they're pretty expensive, but that's going to be an awesome experience, I think, to be in that building. And even just to watch the games, everybody's lots, I wouldn't say everybody, but lots of people will be watching. You're a sports fan? Are you going to tune in? Even if you don't like soccer, you're probably tuning in because you get caught up in the moment. Why not? It's impossible to be a great fan of every sport. But if you're a fan of sports, when there's big games, you'll watch. Can't wait. Should be awesome. Let's get to the con, man. And a sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. They're here for all your vehicle needs and more with their digital vehicle report. They don't just tell you what your car needs. They'll show you. Book your appointment today at fountaintire.com.
The Sports 1440 update.
Oilers coaching update. Chris Knobloch has not yet been fired by the organization, but Mark Spector of Sportsnet reporting he's expecting it to happen likely by day's end. Maple Leafs firing head coach Craig Berube earlier today after 2 seasons and missing the playoffs this past season. And the New York Islanders defenseman Matthew Schaefer won the Calder as the Rookie of the Year. The 2025 first overall pick finished third in rookie scoring with 23 goals and 59 points, while averaging over 24 minutes a night. On the ice tonight, it is Game 5, Avs and Wild from Denver. Puck drop just after 6. The Avs can wrap it up with a win. In the association, Pistons and Caps at 6. That's where he's had 2 games apiece. And in the majors, Jason Rays from Toronto, first pitch 5:07. We'll join that game in progress here on our AM feed after the Jason Gregor Show. Elsewhere, Padres and Brewers, the Rangers host the Diamondbacks, Mariners get the Astros, Dodgers, and Giants. Earlier today, Orioles blanked the Yankees 7-0, and the Guardians doubled up the Angels by a score of 4-2. PWHL announcing 2 new franchises today as Hamilton and Las Vegas will join the league next season, joining Detroit. 1 more franchise expected as well to bring the total to 12 teams. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Oilers Nation's Tyler Yaremchuk and hear the latest edition of Cam Tate's 2-Minute Warning. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
And now Action Electrical's testing team is on defense duty. They're the guardians of safety and compliance, a critical part of any lineup.
Precisely. They perform rigorous safety and code compliance testing for commercial operations. Think of them as the referees, ensuring everything is up to standard before disaster strikes.
Their preventative plays are legendary, spotting faults early. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Hear that? That's
Hey,
your entry
afternoon. Wednesday, Tuesday afternoon. Welcome
to the biggest football event in the
afternoon.
world.
Welcome to the Gregor
live
Show.
in Vancouver with tickets, flights, and a hotel stay for 2. To enter the
Tough day.
contest,
Tough week,
just
man.
text
Going
GAME
quick,
to
I guess.
780-777-7777.
Next week's gonna be even shorter.
Without worrying about it.
Guys, one of them is going to be the Senator started.
Go Auto. Get in
Or
the
two.
game.
Rivalries run deep in Alberta football.
Edmonton all the way.
Calgary rules.
Welcome back, Jason.
But when it comes to the best snack for 3-down fun, there's no Battle of Alberta. It's a clear winner.
Wilhock Beef Jerky.
The one thing every Alberta fan agrees on. So whether you're watching the game from your recliner or in the stands, make it a part of your game day.
Wilhock Beef Jerky, because you don't win games with salad. Only available in Leduc.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, healing doesn't have to feel heavy, because in our SwimX aquatic therapy pools, you literally float your way to recovery. Whether you're dealing with arthritis, back pain, joint injuries, post-surgical rehab, chronic pain, balance issues, mobility challenges, or just feeling a little creaky, warm water and gentle resistance have your back, your knees, and your hips. Trusted by pro sports teams and rehab hospitals, our SwimX pools help you move sooner, hurt less, and recover faster. So take the load off. Let the water do the work. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Don't let equipment failure stop you cold. At AWS Welding in Nisku, our factory-trained service techs are on hand for all welding equipment repairs. We're a fully warranted center for Miller, Lincoln, and ESAB. And we service all makes and models. Proper, regular service extends the life of your gear and keeps it running at peak capacity. Don't wait for a breakdown. Book your service appointment today at 780-979-0470. AWS Welding. We make it happen.
Whether you're refinancing or buying your first home, mortgages are easier with help from a neighbor. At Vision Credit Union, you get face-to-face guidance from local lenders who know the market because, well, they live here too. They'll look at your whole financial picture with practical advice for payments, renewals, refinancing, and what makes sense long-term. Get a more neighborly mortgage. Contact your branch today or visit visioncu.ca.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Ariat, Justin, and Red Wing made in China when Canadian-made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the two best names in the boots business.
Say hello to your new favorite drinks. Introducing new McCafe Refreshers. Icy cool, undeniably refreshing, and available in 3 flavors. Strawberry watermelon, mango pineapple.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Wednesday afternoon. Going to be a little bit wet later on this week for a few days, so get out and enjoy it tonight because the rain is coming. But looks like it'll be better, hopefully, at the later stages of the long weekend and into Fan Day for Elks fans, Green Gold Fan Day, which goes, of course, Monday in Spruce Grove. Elks preseason begins next Saturday, the 23rd. Is a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Casino, live dealer, lottery, instance, sports all in one place. Stay within your limits. GameSenseAB.ca. Coming up this hour, your Remchuck will be by. We got Tater, Adam Scully. Spec, we're going to go out to Colorado. Will the Avalanche punch their ticket to the third round of the playoffs tonight with a win? Odds look good. We'll see. No Brodin again. No Eriksson Ek for Minnesota. That is tough. And then tomorrow night, we will have another elimination game as the Ducks will need a win at home against Vegas. Meanwhile, Buffalo and Montreal are down to a best of 3. It's been a really good series, man. All the Atlantic Division series have been pretty solid so far in the postseason. Now, I went down to Green and Gold today, as today was a day 4 of training camp. Kind of a little bit of a rest day, more of a mental rep day. Mark Killam, they've outlined how many days they want to go, and he really feels that by day 4 or 5, you just need to give their bodies a little bit of a rest. Otherwise, it can lead to injuries. And the one thing that GM Ed Hervey's talked about a lot, the importance of getting through training camp healthy. Now, they have lots of depth at lots of positions, which is great. You need depth if you're going to win. There's no debate on that. And I think they've got pretty good depth, but obviously you never really know how much depth you have until guys get hurt. But they did add more depth today. Darrell Nyambomi was their first round draft pick. He signed today, 3-year deal with the Green and Gold. So it just adds some more depth to their linebacking core as well as on special teams. They announced some cuts today. Nobody who was on the team last year, so no real names, I think, of note other than Jason Laliberti Jr., the American O-lineman, but he announced he's retiring, so just doesn't have it left. A lot of receivers were let go today. Herford and Chichinski, Asante and Jones, as well as Jackson Jr., Ontario Brown, the running back, and Jarrell Cummings, the DB. So the first round of cuts, they'll have some more later on. It's kind of every few days. Then you lead up, you got to make some more cuts again after the first preseason game, and then you got to get down to the final roster before the start of the regular season. The Elks, once again, will start the season on the road, 1 game. Then they get a bye in week 2, and then they will have their home opener in week 3. And caught up with Coach Killam earlier today as we get to the Elks Report, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. no overtime charges. That's how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca. Here's my conversation with Coach Killam.
I talked to you at the end of the year that you felt like you'd have more of a plan on camp, and it's 4 days in. Do you feel the execution of your plan do you sense that even as yourself, like, okay, this has been an easier camp for me?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely been a more streamlined camp, as far as the expectations that we had, that we'd spent a lot of time in the off season about trying to refine this process, what we were trying to get out of every practice, really trying to be intentional with it. And I think, the familiarity with us as coordinators as well, we're kind of a little bit more on the same page with what we expect and what we want to see. And I was pleased with the way the first 3 days went. Today was a little bit more down tempo, but we're ramping it back up tomorrow.
Your team really picked up speed in the second half of last season. And I know JC talked about how he was just way more comfortable calling plays, and across the board, if your coaches are comfortable, your players are comfortable. How do you feel that you can carry that into this season? Are you confident that not that nothing's guaranteed, but you just feel that you're from top down, you guys can pick up where you left off?
Yeah, that was, we tried to take the things that we felt we did well or what we could build on from the end of last year and implement them into our off season. So that started in January, February. And then it was on the coaching staff in our meetings. We were trying to create a sense of urgency to take the step. And that's where really we buckled down on that process. And we wanted to carry that into training camp, and then so that we could have a great training camp and really try to maximize what we're doing. And that's kind of where we're at right now. It's definitely, I don't want to say more comfortability or whatever that word is, but it's definitely, we know what we want to accomplish. We have a plan to do that, and we're trying to execute it.
On paper, definitely looks like there's more talent on this team. Yeah. Specifically on the offensive line, you got like 8 guys who have started at some point in the league. And this might seem like an odd question, but guys rotate the D-line all the time. Was there ever talk about rotating O-linemen at times to keep them fresh? Would that ever be a possibility?
In game? It could be. It definitely could be. I mean, the challenge is you don't really dress, you're dressing 6 or 7. So, I mean, it's D-line usually like we went into games with 9 or 10 at times last year, but it definitely could be something like that. The challenge with that is you want your O-line, good O-lines are on the same page all the time with their communication. So when you're maybe rolling guys in and out, they might have not seen the last previous look that, that the tackle saw, the one before. So, I mean, the communication is such a big thing with those guys, and the familiarity of playing beside, knowing the man they're playing beside. So that's the challenge with that.
The center position seems to be the one that's most highly contested. 2 veterans in Beard and Corte. It's hard for the average fan, even a media guy, when watching to see what we look. So when you're looking on film, what's ultimately going to decide the center position?
Yeah, I mean, it's a combination of, first of all, are we executing our assignment? Are we IDing the looks and the protections the way that we want to be doing that? Can we execute that? What kind of techniques are we playing with? It's just, there's so much that goes into it. I have a ton of respect for both of those players. It's a challenging position to be put in late in your career, but it does happen to a lot of people. And I do want to give them credit. They knew about it way back in January, and they've attacked the offseason, and they were here in the building throughout the winter, and they've handled the rotation very well in camp so far.
Your secondary, pretty much every guy's back. How much more, you've coached so long in the league, how much more can you implement defensively when none of your secondary guys are learning the system? How much easier is it, or how much more in depth can you go?
Yeah, I think the execution level gets even higher, and that's the challenge that we gave to them. Our secondary, they've got to be excellent communicators with each other and the way that they adjust to formations. But I think the level of execution and the detail in that's what we want to try to push that.
Robbie Smith is a difference maker. Unfortunately, injuries really limited him. We saw it in spurts when he was healthy, what he can do. What are you looking forward to him bringing on a regular basis on your D-line?
Robbie brings, he's an explosive player. He has experience. He has a winning pedigree. We just need to keep him on the field. He's been nicked up, not to any fault. Sometimes it just happens. Sometimes it's just rotten luck. But, he came in shape. He was flashing the first couple of days. He missed yesterday, but, we expect big things from Robbie.
Your receiving core, you bring in Mac, obviously has a lot of familiarity with your starting quarterback, but you've got, lots of openings, potential good competition at the receiving core. How much of it is route running execution, compared to blocking and knowing like how much of all that goes into it, and then obviously the ability to just make plays.
Yeah, so we went out, and personnel department did an excellent job of targeting guys that were friendly for the quarterback, had the IQ to pick up the system and pick up multiple positions, which is something that we're stressing on our offense, but also we're versatile, could block around the box, could do different things, not only just take the top off, who's the yak guys, who can we move around and do some different things with. And I think we stress that in the personnel that we brought in, and we've been challenging those guys all the way through. They're rolling through different positions. It's not a simple offense. They've got to put the time in to learn it, but it's the combination of those things for the guys that are going to make the team.
And your special teams unit, I think you got the best punter in the league, and your place kicker's probably one of the best, most accurate now in his second year. How can you maximize your kickers to your fullest potential?
So we're really happy that we got Jake at the start of camp, because Jake came halfway through, and I don't know, it's different when you weren't coached by that guy a year before, you know what I mean? So he had to kind of figure out what we were asking our punter to do, but Jake's leg talent is exceptional. And same thing with Vin. I mean, Vin, it was really his first year last year of playing. So, I mean, Vin's young. He's super talented. We want him to be comfortable. He knows we support him. And then you pair those two guys with Luke Burdencron, who I think is the best long snapper in the CFL. We got a good trio right there.
And lastly, when you look at the preseason games, from how you approached it last year, do you have a different approach? Like, what will you do different that you look for? Maybe because the group's more experienced, but how do you approach the preseason to ensure that you're ready to go in the regular season?
It was part of our plan all off season. You're going to have to wait and see what we do, but we do have a plan on it. It's a little bit different. Remember last year we bust down day of to Calgary. We're not doing that. We're out in Victoria, and then obviously we're really excited to play here at Clark. I think that's going to be fun, but we do have a plan, and we're going to try to execute it.
Well, we'll see what's in store for the Elks coming up this season. I find expectations from a lot of people are that they should be competitive. And obviously within the organization, I think they see the importance of, I think the organization has done a good job. Their ticket renewals are up, in fact, over the last few years. First time in a long time, they're going to have an increase in season tickets. So that's, it's a small step, but it's a small step in the right direction. Obviously, the walk-ups part of it is based on convenience. Lots part of it's based on weather. Good days, people will go. But make no mistake, a winning team, people like to be part of it. If all of a sudden the Elks start winning more than they lose, and that hasn't happened for a long time, right? It hasn't happened for a long time. But if they can start doing that, then you will see more people go out to Commonwealth. It's just like, I can't think of a team that's been bad for a long time and then suddenly they get good, but they don't see an increase in ticket sales. Right? People naturally, you feel better about yourself. You feel better about the whole experience when you go to a team that wins more often. It's just how it is. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, that's why you love sports. You kind of forget about what else is going on and you go there, you sit back in the crowd, maybe with your friends, maybe with your family, whoever, you get to be part of something. And it's more fun when the team's winning. Now, there's lots of diehards who stick through thick and thin. Make no mistake about it, at all levels of all sports. But for those who, I think there was some fans who, they didn't like the name change. Fine. Some who really got perturbed when they fired Ed Hervey. And if you look at pre-Ed Hervey, post-Ed Hervey, wasn't good. The 4 years of Ed Hervey, those have been the 4 best years of the last 2 decades. Not even close. Right? And then came the infamous line. It's not all about winning. Pardon. Like, I could see if you say that, if somebody had committed a crime and you're like, well, we got to get rid of this person because, you know what? There's bigger things in life that are more important than winning. That's true. But not in that situation. Ooh, that was a tough one to walk back. So that one will live on in infamy for the Elks. Coming up, we're going to talk some Oilers. We're going to talk some NHL. Your Remchuk joins us next. It's Jason Gregor Show live on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch. As always, brought to you by playalberta.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your supplier of maximum comfort, bringing you the cool AC you need. You just have to call Legacy. Call Legacy. For comfort at night when the hot air suffocates you. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. For comfort in your wallet with no payments or interest for 1 year. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. You deserve comfort. Cool off today with AC from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Hi, I'm Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. No one's ever accused car shopping to be fun. I mean, think about it. Awkward standoffs to get a price. Let me go talk to my manager. Dealers asking for your credit card, then melting your phone if you say no. See, not fun. At Northgate, I promise you a different experience. We make it fun. And you will like us, I promise. 0% financing, a great selection of new and pre-owned units. So for some fun, stop in today. 13215 97th Street or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Your protein drink should work as hard as you do. That's why Booster Juice is hitting the gym harder than ever, brother. Meet your new gym buddies, the Way Too Good and Green Gains Booster Mixers. 2 new ripped and refreshing menu options that bench some serious protein. Perfect for pre or post workout. Way Too Good and Green Gains Booster Mixers taste like motivation. So what are you waiting for? Let's go!
Booster Juice. Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Hey there, I'm in the Fountain Tire sidecar, making a list of the things I'm doing this spring. 1. Saving you money, with up to 20% off select tires until June 13th. 2. Water skiing, tricky in a sidecar, but fun. And 3. Saving you more money, with mail-in rebates of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires and $50 off a $150 service with the purchase of 4 select tires. Oh, that's 4 things. Oh well, restrictions apply. Book online at fountaintire.com. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
Ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Expand your brand with Fusion Promo Marketing. Fusion is your trusted partner for all things branded merch and apparel. Thousands of products perfect for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
Hey there, I'm in the Fountain Tire sidecar, making a list of the things I'm doing this spring. 1. Saving you money, with up to 20% off select tires until June 13th. 2. Water skiing, tricky in a sidecar, but fun. And 3. Saving you more money, with mail-in rebates of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires and $50 off a $150 service with the purchase of 4 select tires. Oh, that's 4 things. Oh well, restrictions apply. Book online at fountaintire.com. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
Everybody loves a beautiful day in Edmonton. Hey, it's Jamie, and Green Drop Lawn Care is giving you one more reason to love the nice weather. Next Nice Day service. People always ask, how soon can Green Drop get here? Well, when you sign up with Next Nice Day service, we'll be there by tomorrow. Assuming Mother Nature cooperates, we'll be fertilizing and treating your weeds by the very next day. We'll even include Drought Fighter at no additional cost. Just another reason we have been Canada's lawn experts since 1979. Easy online signups only at greendrop.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Get the puck drop special at Papa John's. A large 2-topping pizza and 8-piece wings for only $28.99 with promo code PUCKDROP at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
327. We continue on. Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. We're a busy night in sports once again. NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs. Jays try to beat the Rays. Rays are just beating them for fun right now. And they'll go to the mustachio one. Dylan Cease, who, hey, guy can get strikeouts. That's for sure. Can he get some run support? That'll be the question of the day for the Toronto Blue Jays. As we're going to get to the oil report brought to you by Go Auto. It's that time of year. You're getting a little spring fever. You're thinking, maybe I need a new ride. Well, GoAuto.ca has over 15,000 vehicles to choose from. Any color, any make, they got it. Check it out, GoAuto.ca. As we welcome in Tyler Grimchuk from Oilers Nation and Daily Face-Off as the world turns in the soap opera that is the Edmonton Oilers. And Chris Knobloch is going to be at some point officially on the outside looking in, I think, for the Edmonton Oilers. What do you make of what has transpired the last few days around the Oilers?
I think every side here, Edmonton, Vegas, all this, I'm sure they would have preferred if this stayed under wraps and this never became public knowledge. It's unfortunate for Chris Knobloch. It's unfortunate for the Oilers. Like, it's just not how you would have wanted this to play out. I mean, if Oilers fans are going to sit here and, I don't want to say try to defend it, but like, this is a fan base that laughed pretty hard at the way the Vancouver Canucks handled the Bruce Boudreau outing, right? And like the way that whole era came to an end. And this is, pretty similar, aside from the fact that Boudreau actually had to still coach the team for a couple of games when that was going down. But if I were to provide, like a little bit of, I don't want to say devil's advocate, but a path to how that's maybe justified how it ended up going this way from an Oilers perspective, like the people I've talked to, whether it's, Jeff Merrick on the air and a few other people, and even conversations I've had off the air about the way things have been going behind the scenes, like I think there's a chance that the Oilers, internally were pretty split on what they wanted to do with the head coaching position. I think there were some pretty powerful people in the organization who wanted Chris Knobloch back and just thought he needed better assistants and maybe more veteran assistants around him. And I think there were some people that pushed back on that and said there needs to be a coaching change in this organization. And I think the compromise, if that's maybe the right word to use, was, hey, if we can get Bruce Cassidy, everyone in the room agrees he's a better coach than Chris Knobloch. So let's go get Bruce Cassidy. And if we can't get him, they were trying to have their cake and eat it too. If we can't get Bruce Cassidy, then hey, let's run it back with Chris Knobloch and a fresh staff. And the danger with trying to have your cake and eat it too is what we've seen. It blew up in their face. The information got leaked publicly. They never got to chat with Bruce Cassidy before the Golden Knights said no, and all of this got out. And now they're stuck in a spot where they have to fire Chris Knobloch. Like, there is no more like, if we don't get Bruce Cassidy, let's bring back Chris. Like, he can't coach another game for this team now that this has gone out there. If it would have stayed private, then hey, no one's the wiser and it's whatever. But the fact it got out now, it's a mess and it's their own doing.
Yeah. So, hey, if they get Bruce Cassidy, they're going to look back and say, hey, this is fine. And like I said, this isn't anything that's illegal or anything like that. But that's what, when I heard yesterday, people say, oh, other teams do it. And I'm sorry, I went through every team's last firing in the NHL. None of them. The only one that's remotely close was Nashville, but they had a new GM, and it happened in the offseason. And I think a lot of people can't seem to differentiate the difference between offseason and in-season. If you didn't think Knobloch was your coach, then make the decision. And if they were torn on it, that just shows dysfunction. I've talked about Vancouver's downfall has been internal dysfunction. And unfortunately for Edmonton, I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't say, well, I'm noticing some internal dysfunction on the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, I'm with you. And listen, there are some questions that I would love to inject certain people in the organization with True Serum and get an answer to. Like, what is Paul Coffey's job? How much power does Paul Coffey have? Like, if Stan Bowman is sitting here saying, I want to bring, and I'm not saying that this is what's happening, but if it is the case, if Stan Bowman's saying, I want to bring back Chris Knobloch, and Jeff Jackson says, you're the GM, I trust you to make that decision, and there's a power above that going, nope, coaching change. Well, then, yeah, that would point to internal dysfunction. And I do think from the conversations I've had, like I said, that there was a split here about what they wanted to do with the coaching staff. And again, you talked about like other teams and people are making up all these stories of, oh, well, this could have happened here. This could have happened there. Like, even if other teams do it, to your point, you've done the research. I listened to the first, 30 minutes of your show when you talked about this. If other teams are doing it, then they're not getting caught. And again, if there's leaks and this stuff is getting out from an Oilers perspective, then that just points to internal dysfunction. So I do think there are key people in this organization who are not on the same page with certain things.
Yeah, well, that will be a problem, right? That becomes more of a problem. And I had a player on the team that yesterday in a brief text conversation just told me, goes, I think people are overreacting. I wrote the article last week. It was funny because I said, well, hey, you should read the article. That's exactly what I said. Yeah, the Oilers lost and they had massive injuries. Not just Zach Hyman was really banged up. He didn't hit anybody in the last few games. There's a reason why. He was banged up again. They had other guys banged up, right? So the players know exactly who's hurt and who's not. And this player just told me flat out, a lot of people are overreacting in the organization. And I think we're seeing it.
Yeah, I'm working on a piece as I wrap up my 5-part series. It's the biggest questions that'll define the Oilers offseason. And the last one's kind of the fun one of are they going to go out there and make a big trade and a big splash? And what I'm prefacing the article by saying is they don't need to make a big, sexy, flashy splash to this roster in order for this offseason to be a success or in order for them to be a Stanley Cup contender next year. Again, this was a disappointing season. They sleptwalked their way through 82 games, and then the injuries and all of that caught up to them in the playoffs. And it is what it is. We all know how they kind of flamed out and went out with a whimper. But that doesn't mean this is a bad roster. They can still, even if they don't make any changes, ice a top 6 next year that has Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, a healthy Zach Hyman, a Vasily Podkolzin, who heading into his 25-year-old season looks like he could very well be a 20-plus goal guy, 20-plus even strength goals, by the way. Matt Savoy, he could take a step forward. You can look at different parts of this roster and go, hey, even if they just brought back a pretty similar team and brought back their key free agents, they're right there in the conversation to be the favorites in the Pacific Division right out of the gate. I guess goaltending is the one thing that could maybe sway that a little bit more, but the idea that this team needs to blow it up or add a top line player or else it's doomsday and all this, it's just not true. Do I think a new coach could help? I think an A-plus level coach like Bruce Cassidy can absolutely help. And in the cap era, if you're not trying to make yourself 2 to 5% better in every possible margin in every department, then you're not doing a good job of running a team. But do I think Chris Knobloch needs to be fired just because he's a crappy coach or something like that? No, that's not true at all.
Yeah, well, I think it comes down to, is Bruce Cassidy better? I guess because he won one more game, people are going to say he's better. Because that's really what it comes down to. If Knobloch wins game 7, then he's a Stanley Cup winner. And everyone's like, well, he's a Stanley Cup winner. He's got to be a good coach. And my only concern for that is, if these coaches are all so great, how come when Stanley Cup winning coaches go to other teams, they never win again? Scotty Bowman's the only guy who's done it since 1955. So that's a pretty long period of time. So if I'm an organization, I'm like, hey, Bruce Cassidy, he's different, but there's no more guarantee of Bruce Cassidy than there is a guarantee under Chris Knobloch that they're going to win the cup. And I know that's their goal, but I think the organization is starting to show a little bit of cracks in the armor of they're trying so hard to win that they've lost track of the direction and the plot they're going, right? You're forcing coaches to have to come back to the organization. Now you're trying to interview other coaches. And I love what the one NHL coach said to me via text today, because he read my article yesterday and reached out. I didn't reach out to him. He reached out to me. And I want to get his exact quote for you. In the offseason, I've told teams I wouldn't talk to them about their coaching job unless it was vacant. During the season is a bit different because there's urgency of games. When the season is over, I didn't want to be in the position to take a guy's job before he was let go. So there you go. And I would agree with that. There's still just certain ways to go. You can want to win. But you think the Oilers are the only team in the NHL that want to win? That's where I have a problem with, is people try to defend the action. Well, they're just trying to win. Everybody's trying to win.
Yeah, I agree with that. And are there some unwritten rules that are being violated here on the Oilers front? Absolutely. On the Golden Knights front? Absolutely. And that's why, I asked Jeff Merrick today, point blank. I said, do you see a scenario where the Golden Knights could could, at the end of the day, actually block Bruce Cassidy to Edmonton from happening if both the Oilers and Cassidy wanted to happen. He said no. He said Gary Bettman would be on the phone. Somebody would be calling somebody. And the other thing, too, you want to talk about the coaching fraternity? I'd bet you John Tortorella would have something to say to that organization if you were to find out about this. He's a guy who's always stuck up for the coaching fraternity. So he might even be a guy who walks in and says, what are you guys doing? Like, go and let that guy go get another job somewhere. So I think there are unwritten rules being broken all over the place here. And again, it's messy. It's gotten really messy. And you could, again, say, like, how did this info get out? I think you were the one yesterday who said, like, is there an agent somewhere? Did Bruce Cassidy's agent say, you know what? I don't want this to be lingering in the background. Let's speed up this process a little bit and get the info out. Like, maybe, but again, I can't see a world where the Oilers were the ones who let this leak. And if they did, let's circle back to the term, I guess, of our hit here, and it's organizational dysfunction, right?
Yeah, for sure. So the Oilers eventually they'll sort out their coaching staff and we'll see what happens in the offseason. I don't think it changes the direction of some of the players. I think they won't, like, I'd be stunned if whoever the new head coach isn't interested in having Connor Murphy resign when you consider there's no free agent defenseman. Like, if he walks, you know what? Now you're searching for a second pair right defenseman again. So I think you need to sign him. Obviously, I get that you want to have it not at any cost or anything like that. But do you ultimately think it's realistic that Darnell Nurse gets traded? Or is that just a new talking point in Edmonton?
I think the path to it this summer is finally there in a realistic way, whereas in past years, I never fully bought it. And I do think, again, like, the appetite from the Oilers' perspective to eat some money, that'll probably have to change in some way. But, like, from the Nurse perspective, I know next summer his no trade clause opens up a little bit, and he's got to submit a list of 10 teams, I believe. So if you went to him this year and said, hey, next summer you need to give us a list of 10 teams, let's play ball here. Give us a list of 5 that you would, like, really want to go to. And maybe it's all the teams around Southern Ontario because he wants to play closer to home, or whatever the answer is. Maybe it's warm weather teams, contenders. Give us a list of 5, and we're going to call them all and say, hey, we're retaining $3 million or $2 million on this contract. Do you have any interest in the player? So I do think for the first time, there's a realistic path to it, just because we're getting closer to his trade protection changing a little bit. But if I had to, like, handicap it and put a percent on it, I'm not touching 50%. I'm not touching 30%. It's probably somewhere down in the 15 to 20% range. And the only thing that could change that is if we got some sort of a report that, like, I had DJ Bean on my show the other day, and he said, you know what, I'd keep $4 million of it, and I'd turn Darnell Nurse into that point. He thinks, and I think I kind of agree with him, a positive asset. If you kept $4 million of Darnell Nurse, would Detroit give you something for it? Would Buffalo, who was very interested in Colton Parayko, and listen, I'm not comparing the two players here, but they clearly wanted to add a big veteran to their blue line at the deadline, and they were willing to give up 2 A+ assets for Parayko. Could you go to Buffalo and say, hey, we don't need 2 A+ assets from you, but we'll keep Darnell Nurse down to $5.5-6 million, and you give us something for this guy? So I don't know. I do think, to answer your question, there's a chance, but anyone who's just saying it's a lock, and I hate the people who go, you tell him that he's going to be healthy scratched every game until he waves. Like, that's just ridiculous. That's not realistic. That's not how the league works. And even then, if you sat there and pointed at Darnell Nurse and said, we're going to, healthy scratch you every game till you wave, that doesn't make any other team more interested in him. So again, not a lock by any means, but I do think this is the first summer where I've got a feeling there's some amount of a realistic chance.
Lastly, the Vladdy Guerrero. So it's 20 games now without a home run. He only has 2 extra base hits in those 20 games. He's looking like slap hitter right now, which is crazy to think. So we had the question earlier, how many games does he go before he hits a home run? He's at 20. Now, I mean, it could be he hits a home run tonight, then it ends, and it's at 20. What do you think?
Well, tonight they're facing Griffin Jacks, who is a righty, and I'd probably like Vladdy a bit more if it was a bad left-handed pitcher on the bump. But Griffin Jacks, hasn't had the great season. His ERA is up at 5. So, there's a chance. There's the optimistic part of me that just does the whole, you walk up to the roulette table, it's red 9 times in a row. You say, yeah, it's due to be black here, and you put your money on black, even though it makes no sense. There's a part of me that says, oh, Vladdy's due for one. It's been 20 games or 19 games. What are the odds he goes 20? But I could see this reaching a long along a little bit, just looking at the quality of his at-bats. He came up in the first inning yesterday against Tampa Bay. I think he struck out in 3 straight pitches. He had a third opportunity to face Shane McClanahan. That's something Vladdy was so good at in the postseason, is if he got to see a pitcher 3 times, he was making their life a nightmare in that third at-bat because he knew what was coming. It felt like he went up that third time against McClanahan, who I know is a great pitcher and he's on a great run, but he looked lost. He came up, and I know he reached on an error when they were pulling off that comeback in the 8th inning, but even then, he swung at a pitch outside that was garbage, watched a splitter down the middle, more or less, and then rolled over a ball that Tampa Bay fumbled. So I want to be optimistic, but I'll be honest right now, he just looks so lost at the plate. I think it might take longer for him to get out of this.
Jeez, yeah, it's not good at all. Ty, have a good one, man. Have yourself a great day.
Sounds good. See ya.
There you go. That's Tyler Remchuk from Oilers Nation and Daily Face Off. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. We got a lot of text to get to. We're going to get to it. And hey, to me, there's always a bigger issue about how you're going about things. And I just think I'd be a hypocrite if I talked about dysfunction and then didn't point out the fact that Edmonton has started slowly showing signs of it. Now, maybe they can reel it in, but they need to reel it in. We'll return on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
With Play Alberta, backing the home team goes beyond the bets. That's because your picks have provincial impact. Play Alberta is the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. By investing in the General Revenue Fund, every play, bet, and buy made on Play Alberta helps make a difference across the province. It feels good to know your fund goes further at home. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Day or night, tasting just the right. You can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca.
I do not want to write this. I don't.
You can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day.
Never.
And oodlenoodle.ca.
If I told you.
Oodle noodle.
1440.
Hear that?
Sport.
That's your entry calling. Go Auto is sending you to the biggest football event in the world, live in Vancouver, with tickets, flights, and a hotel stay for 2. To enter the contest, just text GAME to 780-777-7777. That's GAME to 780 all sevens. Go Auto, get in the game.
Attention Alberta construction pros. For over 50 years, Japa Equipment Rentals has been your go-to for top-notch equipment and stellar service. Whether you need rentals or expert maintenance, we've got you covered. Stop by our Edmonton or Calgary locations today.
Novo Blinds is your home ice advantage for window coverings. Edmonton's own custom manufacturer with over 300 5-star reviews from homeowners, builders, and commercial contractors. Book a free in-home consultation at novoblinds.ca.
Big guests, bigger takes. Jason Gregor brings the names you know and the stories you don't. Weekdays 2 to 6 on Sports 1440. Don't miss a minute of the action on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Our new McCafe crafted sodas just drinks or something more? Like Sprite Berry Bliss, Creamy Strawberry Coke, and Orange Dream. All swirled with fizzy flavor and topped with silky cold foam. Only at McDonald's. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, Jersey barriers and aggregates. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned. Over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete Products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
From casual rounds to tournaments to weddings, it all fits at Colonial Golf Club.
Excuse me, you mind if I play through? I'm in a bit of a rush.
No problem. Why are you wearing a tuxedo?
Oh, yeah, I'm getting married today. Just thought I'd play a round of golf before I say I do. Oh, looks like they're starting.
Great course conditions, greens that are always fast and true, and only 5 minutes from Edmonton and Beaumont. Colonial Golf Club. For more details and a book, visit colonial.ca.
When your project can't afford downtime, call Japa Equipment Rentals. From excavators and wheel loaders to compaction equipment, Japa has the machines you need. Trusted since 1972. Visit JapaEquipment.com or stop by our Edmonton or Calgary locations.
What a performance by Action Electrical today. Their projects team kicked things off, designing and building with unmatched skill.
Then the service team swoops in for those crucial repairs and maintenance. And don't forget the testing team, ensuring everything's safe and sound before the solar team scores with sustainable energy.
A complete team effort. Have Action Electrical bring home a win for you and your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork, made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at Cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$3:49. We return Wednesday afternoon. Lots going on. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. That's where you can text us. Gregor Show always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. And tonight, I don't know why, it just seems kind of anticlimactic, right? Like Colorado just seems destined to beat Minnesota now, doesn't it? It's kind of unfortunate, but obviously I know they can come back down 3-1. It just doesn't. The Avs look really good. The one thing to kind of follow is, could the Avs tie or break an NHL record tonight? They've had 15 different skaters score a goal in the series, not in the playoffs. In the series, they've had 15 different players score a goal, which is in 4 games. That is pretty impressive. So tonight they go into the game and you're like, okay, who needs to score a goal? Well, up front, Logan O'Connor, he would be one who needs a goal. Joel Kiviranta, if Lekkonen's not playing, then he'll be in. He would be the other forward. Then on the back end, there's Brent Burns, there's Josh Manson, Brett Kulak. Any of them score, they'll tie the record. If 2 of those guys score, they would set an NHL record. But that's pretty impressive. Balanced scoring I would say McKinnon's got 4 goals in 4 games. Kadri and Makar each have 2. And then Nelson, Landeskog, Lehkonen, Nichushkin, Taves, Roy, Colton, Netchus, Parker Kelly, Jack Drury, Nick Blackenberg, Sam Malinsky each have 1. It's wild, man. So now what helps them potentially break it is some guys are hurt. So now they come out, new guys come in. So, but whatever. Yeah, in a 4-game stretch, that's where you would say a pretty balanced scoring for them. Also, we have, if you're a golf fan, PGA Championship begins tomorrow. Scotty Scheffler is the favorite once again. Going in doesn't mean he's going to win, but once again, he is the favorite. Hey, Gregor, there was way too big of a deal being made over this. I can't wait for Cassie. Everything else is white noise from Northside Corey. Jeff Merrick had a great take. Well, hey, you know what? I get it. Because people, if you want to hear that it's not, doesn't mean anything, then you'll find someone who says it doesn't mean anything. You'll be like, oh, that's awesome. Great. It's no problem. But when you say, oh, it happens all the time, but nothing with the timeline says it happens all the time. Just because someone says, oh, it happens all the time, doesn't mean it does. I outlined it. Every team. Look at the time when guys were fired to when the replacement was hired. Okay, it doesn't happen all the time. Outside of Nashville, and they had a new GM, so the old coach, you know how it works. New GM comes in, hey, I got to get my own guy. We can debate if that's always right or not, but that happens. That's only one. We see lots of teams in the offseason fire a guy. They don't have a replacement for 6 weeks because they do what's called an interview process. And so that's the other question. If you think Bruce Cassidy's the guy for sure, why would you rush it? Why wouldn't you interview other guys to try to get as much possible information from outsiders, people you respect in the industry, on how they view your team? Why wouldn't you do that? Isn't that missing an opportunity? Even if you know that Cassie's the guy deep down that you want to have, someone else going to have to, blow your the doors off to do it. What if they come up with some ideas that you haven't thought of? Right? Because if your goal is to win the Stanley Cup and you're okay with them being ruthless and doing this, then why would you be okay with them not interviewing a lot of people to try to get as much information as possible about it? That's what I don't understand. Good hiring practices. Try to find out as much information as you can. And what does it cost you? Maybe a plane ride to fly him in? Pretty sure they can afford it. Guys, at the end of the day, does it matter who the coach is? The players don't commit. Well, Tim, hey, I've written that, and I've said it many times. And I know it's hard because some people, the truth sometimes is the hardest one for any of us to admit. So they blame the coach multiple times. They blame the goalie multiple times. Is it possible that maybe it isn't just their wrongdoings? Could the coaches be better? Yes. I've said it many times. And like I said, if they just would have fired Chris Knobloch last week and said, okay, we're going in a different direction, be like, all right, we'll see if it's working or not, but at least you went about it the right way. So we'll see what happens. Like, ultimately, I'd be surprised if somehow, some way, the NHL doesn't say, hey, you got to grant Bruce Cassidy the opportunity to interview for these vacancies. LA, Edmonton, Toronto. Because they're all going to want to talk to him. And Bruce is like I said, what did he say last week, Con? Look at Bruce Cassidy, man. The guy's a genius. He went on tour doing interviews. He did like 6 or 7 of them. Talking about, hey, and he hasn't been out of the game very often. He wants to get back in the game. I understand it. Hey, he could sit out for a year and be like, hey, you know what? I got money. No big deal. I don't need any. I got a $4.5 million salary. I'm good. I could relax. No, he's like, I want to be coaching. And then he said, very wisely, as a Canadian, you know what I would like? Man, I would love the opportunity to coach in Canada and bring the cup back. Well, fans in Toronto, fans in Vancouver, fans in Edmonton, everywhere were like, oh, geez, I kind of like this guy. Right? It's genius. It's genius to say it because it automatically, people are like, hey, look at his track record, pretty good. And he wants to coach in Canada. This is amazing. Right? It's genius. Smart move. That is a classic PR move. Great. And I believe him. Who wouldn't want to? You'd love to be the coach of a team in Canada to win the cup. I haven't won it since 1993. Right? So I get it, but it's really not many of them come out and say it. Right? Which I've never understood. Like, if you think it, say it. Why not? Put it out there. Hey, man, I'd love that opportunity. So if he becomes available to speak to, which I just can't see, because keep in mind, Frank, even in his article, didn't say they wouldn't grant permission. They just hadn't yet. And that's key in how he worded it. Not that they wouldn't do it. They just haven't got around to doing it yet. So there you go. Hey, guys, does anyone consider McDavid's leadership style as the problem? Brad from North. Well, again, like, it's hard to say it's a major problem considering, like, they've been to 2 of the last 3 Stanley Cup finals. This year they lost out with their injured. Like, I'll say it again. I don't think the Oilers are that far off. But my concern is that you're starting to see little things that make me believe, like, I get that you want to win. But the more you want to, you can't want to win more. Right? Like, it's like, oh, we gave 110%. Really? Can you give it 110% or can you just give 100%? Right? Like, so the Oilers aren't the only team who wants to win. There's lots of teams. They all want to win. Now, some have more of a realistic thinking in, hey, I think we have a chance to win. And I think Edmonton will go into next season believing that they can win. But when one of your own players says, I think we're overreacting, that's where, and the reason I wrote that is you can't let the emotion, the frustration from losing this year lead to rash decisions. Right? You can't get blinded by it. Right? It's no different. Ask any parent, right? What's the one thing you try to teach your kids? When you get mad, you can't just lash out and swear and scream and throw things, right? You got to be someone emotionally controlled. And I get it. There's lots of pressure. Daryl Cates wants to win. Bowman wants to win. Jackson wants to win. McDavid, they all want to win. Right? All the players want to win. I don't discount that for a second. All the coaches want to win. But if it leads you to making rash decisions that are fueled on emotion, it can lead to problems. Right? Like you look back at just the last calendar year. So season ends. Tough end of the season because they lost a cup again. Right? Then they go out. Andrew Mangiapane signing. From day one, there was lots of us. I'm like, man, I don't really like that signing. Right? Smaller forward. Look what he did in Washington. Like, I don't care that he scored 35 goals 1 year, 4 years ago. Right? Didn't love it. Didn't work out. Fine. Then they're like, oh, geez, you know what? We're having a slow start. And who gets the blame? Stuart Skinner. Because you know what? It's got to be Stu's fault. Someone's got to take it. And look what, first of all, you have to look at the history of goalie trades. How many goalies get traded? And you have to give up that much. You give up Skinner. You give up Brett Kulak and a second rounder for Tristan Jarry, who was on waivers a year earlier. Why? Did you have to give up that much to get Blackwood? Did you have to give up that much to get Wedgwood? Like, what are we doing? So that was a decision based on just, oh my God, things aren't going well, overreaction. And now, got to bring Paul Coffey back. Not that he's the problem, but again, just doesn't look good. So to me, I think it's a fair question to ask. Is the organization emotionally overreacting? And if you do that too often, now you're just chasing your tail. So can they relax, take a deep breath, and recognize they still have a good foundation? This team is not that far away. Okay? They're not. Now, it's hard to win. Right? It's hard to win. So you're going to want to try. I get that they want to try to win, but I look at the fact that, like, if you have little decisions and it's like death by 1,000 cuts, and they just slowly add up and slowly add up and slowly add up, and now suddenly you've made a lot of small decisions to become bad decisions, right? Everybody can make one error, and then you counter, hey, you know what? I look at the Andrew Mangiapane. Okay, you signed him to a deal. It didn't work out. You got rid of him. You didn't retain any salary. You got rid of him. Now, ideally, if you sign Dickinson, you're like, well, this is great. We got Dickinson and Doc for Mangiapane and a pick. That's a pretty good trade because you're getting 2 guaranteed players for one that wasn't going to help you and a draft pick that who knows if it'll help you. So kind of go from there. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Craig, if someone says they gave 110%, they really only provided 91% previously if they said they gave their all, from David. I think it's a saying, yes. I think I gave everything I had. Right? And so you'd like to think it's more than that. But I always know that, like, the real diehard mathematicians, I get fired up about that. It's great. I love it. Let's get to the con man. Sports 1440 update brought to you by Hire Good. For professional property services that you can feel good about, get Hire Good. Site cleanup, debris removal, seasonal maintenance, and more. Stable jobs create stable lives. HireGood.ca.
The Sports 1440 update.
Just one game tonight in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Avs and Wild from Denver. Puck drop just after 6. Colorado leading 3-1. In the association, you got the Pistons and the Cavs at 6. That series tied at 2 games apiece. And majors tonight, Jays taking on the Rays just after 5 o'clock. We'll join that game in progress here on our AM feed on Sports 1440. Earlier today, the Yankees fell to the Orioles 7-0, and it was the Guardians over the Angels 4-2. Later tonight, Cubbies, Braves, White Sox, Royals, the Marlins in Minnesota, Brewers taking on the Padres, and the Mariners in Houston. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll talk some golf with Adam Scully of Golf Canada and preview the Avs Wild game with Justin and Michael from DNVR Sport. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Days are night, tasting just so right. You can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle noodle.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring.
Later
Mr. Dirk.
on this week,
your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
This is you.
Hi.
And your cornhole team needs money.
Yeah, we do need money.
Plus, you've tried every fundraiser under the sun.
No kidding, and no one's buying my Cuban salted chocolate.
Scrap the chocolate and fundraise for your team, club, or charity at On the Rocks. Here's the deal. We'll create custom tickets for your event, which includes no cover, no line, and beverage before 10 p.m. Then you sell your tickets and keep all the profits.
That sounds easy.
It is. Fundraisers at On the Rocks. Book, party, cash. OnTheRocksYEG.com.
I've got some good news. If you've been thinking about a heavy-duty truck, the 2026 Ram 2500 Black Express is now at St. Albert Dodge. You've got 20-inch black aluminum wheels, black Mopar side steps, body color, bumpers and grille, and a sport performance hood. Available in all the colors for $68,990. Plus, new this year, Ram's best-in-class 10-year powertrain warranty. Now's the time. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Say hello to your new favorite drinks. Introducing new McCafe Refreshers. Icy cool, undeniably refreshing, and available in 3 flavors. Strawberry watermelon, mango pineapple, and blackberry passion fruit. Only at McDonald's.
The puck is passed up through the neutral zone, and here's a breakaway. He's coming in hot. He shoots, and oh no, a broken stick.
When it comes to performance, quality parts matter. Napa Auto Parts has all the reliable parts, tools, and more to keep your vehicle running like a playoff contender. With over 85 locations in Alberta, visit your local Napa store today or shop online at napacanada.com. That's Napa Know-How.
Edmonton's only 24-hour-a-day sports radio station can be heard anytime, anywhere. Sports 1440 is streaming on your phone, your tablet, your computer. Download an app today and listen to Sports 1440.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. From weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendonitis to post-surgical knees and hips, we fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Just after 4 o'clock. How are you? Wednesday afternoon. If you missed it, there was a coaching change in the NHL today as Craig Berube was let go, fired by the Toronto Maple Leafs. Not a huge surprise. A lot of people thought that, based on his 2 years in Toronto and the new GM and new management team, not a real surprise when they make changes. That happens fairly frequently in sports world, not just in and really not even just that. Just how many of you have worked at a place and all of a sudden you get a new CEO or somebody else, and even sometimes a new sales manager, and there's changes. It's just how it goes. So that's business. Not always, but in lots of cases there are changes. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. It is the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Where, of course, Lotto 649, the OG, tonight. $44 million up for grabs, as well as the $5 million classic jackpot. So good luck. And you can get your tickets very simple and easy at PlayAlberta.ca. We're going to talk a little golf, because starting tomorrow, the PGA Championship. Now, of course, if you remember, it used to be later in the year. They changed it a few years ago. So now you have it April, one in May, one in June, one in July, 4 straight months with the majors of golf, kind of like their prime time of the season, as Adam Scully from Golf Talk Canada joins us. And Adam, it's always intriguing. You go into it, and Scotty Scheffler always seems to be the guy right now that everybody's like, hey, picking Scotty Scheffler, and people kind of, real way to go out on a limb. Doesn't guarantee he's going to win. But outside of Scheffler, when you look at players' games and you look at how the course is set up, are there other guys that you think have a really good chance based on their style of play and the course?
Yeah, for sure. And thanks for having me on, Jason. I'm intrigued about this golf course, specifically because of some of the comments Rory McIlroy made on Tuesday during his press conference, where we know he's one of the longest drivers of the golf ball in the world. He's first on the PGA Tour in strokes gained off the tee. But he said his strategy is basically, I'm going to whale a driver as hard as humanly possible and then go find it and hopefully have wedges in my hand, regardless if I'm in the fairway or in the rough. So if McIlroy is thinking that way, then you've got to think guys like Bryson DeChambeau are also thinking that way. Ludwig Oberg, who hasn't won this season on a PGA Tour, hasn't won yet a major championship yet, would be thinking that way. Cameron Young, who hit one of the greatest tee balls we've ever seen on the 18th hole at the Players' Championship, who's a great driver of the golf ball. Gary Woodland. What I'm saying is, I'm thinking bombers are going to be thinking the same way leading into this tournament, especially tomorrow, given there is supposed to be some rain coming in the Philadelphia area. So I'm expecting a pretty soft golf course tomorrow morning.
Okay. And, so that obviously alters things a little bit, right? Maybe, yeah. I don't know, I guess if you're a better iron player, now you can go right at it.
Yes, exactly. And that's where, there's so many intriguing names, and looking at strokes gained approach, like Brooks Koepka, who is now back on the PGA Tour. He leads the PGA Tour in strokes gained approach this season, number 1. but he's 149th in strokes gained putting. His putting was so bad at Myrtle Beach that he snapped his putter after his final round on Sunday, and he was seen with 5 or 6 different flat sticks trying to figure out which one to game come Thursday. So iron game is going to be critical. Rory's 7th in strokes gain approach. Scotty Scheffler's approach numbers are actually significantly worse than they have been in the past number of years, where he's led the PGA Tour 3 consecutive years heading into this year, where he's now 42nd on the PGA Tour in strokes gained approach, but still leads in scoring average. Scotty Scheffler is still so fascinating to me. But, you know, on many of these betting books now, he is obviously the favorite, and I'm seeing numbers as low as plus 480, and heading into a major championship, those are crazy odds.
Yeah, they are. A guy who's always been around it is Xander Schauffele. You think he's ever going to get there?
Well, so he got there 2 years ago. He won 2 majors 2 years ago. He won his first one at Valhalla. He made that putt on the 18th hole to win by 1. And then he surprised really everyone when he won a second major 2 majors later, winning the Claret Jug. And it's interesting because a lot of people were expecting him to continue that rise in 2025 last year. And he had this really weird rib injury. And I've never had a rib injury. I'm not sure if you've ever had a rib injury, but it cost Xander Schauffele the first 3-4 months of the season. It's just a really weird injury to get. And he didn't play as well last year. Now he's slowly rounding into form. He had 3 top 10 finishes consecutively before struggling last week at the Truist. He's a guy who I wouldn't say totally rebuilt his swing, but added a lot of speed to his swing, working with Chris Como a couple of years back, and that really helped his overall game. So Schauffele will definitely be one to watch for this week.
And Rory McIlroy, and I know he joked about it, how he couldn't win the Masters forever, and then he wins it back-to-back years. And I'm sure there's something in there that he finally wins it. You can exhale. He's like, man, I've accomplished a lot, and I still want to accomplish more, but it's not, you're not stressed about it at all. I've always joked, like if Connor McDavid ever wins 1 Stanley Cup, I'm sure after that he would loosen up and it would be better for him. But so you look at how Rory's playing, and I know that Augusta is very different than a lot of these courses, right? And some guys, their game just really matches to that. And for a long time, his game didn't, because he couldn't win. Not that he played poorly; he was always seemed to be in the mix. But I know that he's the second favorite heading in, and I think it's Cameron Young who's third. But should Rory maybe not be higher just based on the way he's played?
Well, I mean, I'd say Scotty Scheffler is sort of in a league of his own, and Rory is in that next tier, which is still an incredibly high tier. And he's got so much talent, and I think for him, it's a mindset. Like, heading into the Masters, where he obviously successfully defended his title, in his pre-tournament press conference, he was happy, he was jovial, he was joking, he had his green jacket on before the tournament, which you don't see many guys in their pre-tournament presser have their green jacket on. And he didn't drive the ball that well during the first round. He just sort of steadied the ship. And then he really won that golf tournament on that Friday second round, birdieing 6 of his last 7 holes. And then we didn't really see Rory at all until the Truist Championship last week, where he showed some rust, but he still finished T19. I am very high on Rory this week. He's got that freedom, and he even talked about how, he took 10 days to really celebrate and enjoy the Masters. Then he said, I got to get back to work here. Whereas last year, he accomplishes this lifelong feat. And whenever anyone accomplishes that, whether it's in the sports world, in life, in anything, it's sort of a thought of now what? And that's where Rory was lacking motivation for quite some time. And that's where it seems like the focus is there. I'm intrigued with Rory with this kind of peculiar injury he's dealing with, where he has a blister on his right pinky toe under the nail, where that sounds as painful and as squeamish as it is as I'm describing it, where it forced him to stop his practice round on Tuesday after 3 holes. And it forced him to call Nike and say, hey, I need new kicks for this week. And now he's wearing a softer golf shoe that's half a size bigger. I never thought we'd be having blister talking about golf, but here we are, right? But in summary, I am very high on Rory.
Yeah. That is, I didn't know that blister story. And hey, anybody who's had a blister, it can be, it can be rather uncomfortable. There's
not fun.
There's no question about it. Some of the other guys, Tommy Fleetwood, Colin Morikawa had an unreal performance with a really sore back recently that impressed a lot of people. If you look at it overall, I guess just kind of where the game is at, and what do you make of the recent live discussions, shall we say, and what's going on with live? How do you think that's impacting golf overall?
Well, as someone who hosts and produces a golf show, I have always welcomed the live to be a part of the golf world because it's content, it's discussion, it's something that's been radically different. But now that we're here and absolutely nobody watches it in the United States. Now, I got to give them credit. In Australia, the crowds, the viewing numbers, the audience, it was pretty amazing. In South Africa, the same thing. But if the PIF isn't involved, it isn't going to pay these most of these players who are over the hill, then they're all going to try to find a way to play somewhere else. Or as Thomas Peters said, he might just retire, which would be crazy. Now, all I've said on Golf Talk Canada since Live became a thing was I just want to see the best players in the world play together more often. And we're going to see that this week at the PGA Championship, which is great. But it's an interesting time for the PGA Tour as well, given how they allowed Brooks Koepka to come back. Now he paid a $5 million fine and charitable donations, had to qualify his way back into signature events. I'm really fascinated to see what John Rahm does, who said he didn't really regret his decision. He made a lot of money. Bryson has claimed that he might try to only play YouTube golf, which that literally makes no sense. How do you qualify for majors? It doesn't work if you get 2 million subscribers on YouTube to go qualify for a major. So the next couple of months are going to be fascinating, not only for this Live Golf dynamic, but for the PGA Tour with new CEO Brian Rolapp, who came over from the NFL, who's been trying to change so much and rumors of match play and the Tour Championship and a brand new schedule, which apparently is going to come at some point in June at the Travelers Championship. So Live continues to make the golf world fascinating. We do know the PIF is going to be financing them for the rest of this season, but beyond that, it's anyone's guess. So I'm truly, truly fascinated to see what happens over the next couple of months.
Yeah. Now it's funny how you say, "Oh yeah, no one's watching the U.S." and that's one area. But if you want to be a global game, then it doesn't necessarily matter. Like the U.S. is for the PGA viewers, and if the rest of the world's watching Live, well, then that's better for golf, isn't it?
It's possible. It's a good point, but it's really only in two areas where now they're two big areas. I will say that in Australia and South Africa, which both had better TV numbers than they have in the past, but it was more the audience. It was more the people who were there. It was more the atmosphere. It looked like a rock concert at a golf course. And that isn't obviously for anyone, but we've seen South Africa and Australia have success hosting PGA Tour sanctioned events before. I'm thinking President's Cup, the President's Cup in South Africa back in 2003, and the President's Cup in 2019 when Tiger Woods was the plan captain and led the U.S. for the win. It would be amazing if, say, Liv and the DP World Tour wanted to partner, and you have that sort of world tour and then the PGA Tours in the States. It would also be really cool, and I doubt this would ever happen, let's say the PGA Championship this week, where people have said for a long time that the PGA Championship has lacked an identity. Like, we know what the Masters is, we know what the Open, we know what the U.S. Open is. But the PGA Championship is sort of it's the fourth major. It'd be awesome to see the PGA Championship at a Royal Melbourne in Australia or some of these world-class venues that are all over the world. But, in closing, I mean, Live and DP World Tour, if that was the World Tour, that would be pretty cool. But I'm curious to see where it goes from here.
Yeah, it would be fascinating. Adam, great stuff. Who are you picking to win?
I've got Ludwig Oberg. Ludwig is someone who played well at the Players' Championship. He had a bit of a brain fart for about 25 minutes during that final round with a really poor 7-wood into the 11th hole and then trying to drive a 360-yard par 4 with water all the way left. He's a younger guy. He's Rory and Scotty have won 4 of the last 5 majors, and I wouldn't be surprised if both of those guys are in this movie, but I think it's Ludwig's time to win his first career major championship.
All right, there you go. I like it. Enjoy the weekend. Hopefully it doesn't rain too much.
Yeah, thank you. Talk to you soon.
There you go. Talking. Who do you like at the upcoming PGA Championship starting tomorrow? When we come back, a little NHL talk with Justin Michael on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
With Play Alberta, backing the home team goes beyond the bets. That's because your picks have provincial impact. Play Alberta is the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. By investing in the General Revenue Fund, every play, bet, and buy made on Play Alberta helps make a difference across the province. It feels good to know your fund goes further at home. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
A lot of you love hockey season. But when it comes to construction season,
Come on already.
You're not as excited unless you work for GS Construction. It's true. As one season is winding down, ours is winding up with all sorts of great projects to make the city we live in better. And our team is hiring. GS Construction is scouting for pipe layers, topmen, and heavy equipment operators. So if you want to score a great job, visit gsconstruction.ca today.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquessential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade: safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
The tents are up and the deals are out. The Brick's biggest sale of the season is on now. Pick up to 60% off clearance items in the tents. Sofas start at $3.99 and save up to 50% on select mattresses. Get a sofa, coffee table, mattress, bed frame, and dining set, all for less than $1,500. Only at the Brick's tent sale. See you in store for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
Our new McCafe crafted sodas just drinks or something more. Like Sprite Berry Bliss, Creamy Strawberry Coke, and Orange Dream. All swirled with fizzy flavor and topped with silky cold foam. Only at McDonald's. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
All the protection you want, none of the weight. Introducing Timberland Pro's Boondock Ultra Light Work Boots. The lightest Boondock yet, with the Timberland durability you expect. Conquer long shifts, move faster, and work safer with all-day comfort in a lightweight package. Find your Boondock Ultra Lights now at all 3 of our Edmonton job site workwear locations and online at jobsiteworkwear.ca.
Job site workwear, tough different jobs.
Welcome back to Nissan Head to Head. Rogas showing up with an unbelievable estimated highway range of up to 800 kilometers per tank. Some of the other guys are stepping up now with yet another fuel stop. Some wins are really obvious.
Qualifying owners can lease a Nissan Rogue-S for the equivalent of $99 weekly at 0% for 36 months, $430 monthly. Offer includes $1,100 Nissan bonus and 0.4% loyalty rate reduction. Conditions apply. Visit Nissan.ca for details.
Visit your local Edmonton and area Nissan dealer for more information.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions take 1 for Gene Principe. Hey, thanks for being on time.
I'm always punctual. Now, how about some cool beats while I drop the heat?
Ready when you are.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Nice.
Boom! I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for AC season.
What's not to love with no interest and no Principe payments for 1 year?
Are you always like this?
Yep. Unlike Legacy, I never know when to cool it.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Your weekend hotspot is at On the Rocks.
Party with Edmonton's best bands every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
And we got them all.
From the Varkels to Tallboy, Radioactive, Curves, the Brute Squad, Morningwood, Rockzilla, Punch Buggy, and more.
Plus, the guy who keeps the party going every weekend. DJ Kenny K on the 1s and 2s, live.
Get ready to have a good time this weekend.
Your bar, your party. You're On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
Jasper Ave and 118th.
Your all-access pass to the world of sports is Edmonton's only sports radio station.
From pre- and post-game hockey shows to in-depth analysis from your favorite commentators, the action never stops on Sports 1440.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. And I did OTR. It's Wing Wednesday with 69-cent wings from 5 to close, plus drink specials all day and karaoke starting at 9 at Jasper Ave 118th or online at ontherocks.yeg.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Six. Welcome back. Gregor, Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you are having a lovely day. And this just coming down, no real surprise. I don't think anybody who watched the play last night, I think many were expecting this. But McNabb has been suspended for one game for his what was deemed interference on Anaheim's Ryan Poling. Poling left the game, didn't return. McNabb was kicked out of the game. And what did that happen, right? 13 minute mark. So kind of like a 2-game suspension almost for him. But that was a pretty hard hit. And the puck. Now I will say, and this is my pet peeve, I hate when they show the replay in slow motion. Of course it looks worse. But just show it in real time, because that's the game is called in real time. It's not called in slow motion. That's the only thing I get a little. Oh, they replay after replay, and it's slow motion. And it's like super slow motion. Come on, it's not how they play. Now it was clearly it was late. There's no debate about that. So he gets a game, and we'll see. Vegas, they basically played 5 defensemen. And still won the game. So I'm not sure. It hurts, but it's not a crushing blow for them. Let's go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. As right now, you can enjoy the McDonald's $5 McValue meals. Options like the sausage McMuffin small meal or the McDouble small meal for only $5 plus tax. Prices exclude delivery right now at McDonald's. Go in, pick it up. 5 bones. Pretty good deal. As we go out to Denver, where the Colorado Avalanche have an opportunity to get back to the conference final with a victory tonight over the Minnesota Wild. Justin Michael joins us from DNVR. And Justin, it's been a pretty good series for the Avalanche. McKinnon's got 4 goals in 4 games. They got 15 different skaters who have scored a goal. They got 2 goalies who have won games. So it couldn't really draw up more of a, quote, full team effort so far through the 4 games for the Avalanche.
Yeah, 100%. I think if you were to look at the biggest difference between these 2 teams in the series, and these are 2 of the best teams in the NHL, clearly, I just think it's the overwhelming depth that Colorado has been able to display in this run. Obviously, they've really done a good job in recent years, kind of retooling the roster, making some moves to bolster the depth. It didn't work out last year, but this Avs team has gone all in on the idea of, if not now, never, we're one of the best teams in the league, if not the best team in the league. And I think it's been huge to see, being able to get that type of production out of the Nick Waws of the world, and Parker Kelly continues to step up. McKinnon's been great, but I think the depth has been the biggest difference.
Yeah. You look at that depth, and it's not like there's one specific guy, right? It's not like Newhook in Montreal right now who's just playing out of his mind, which is great for them. But Colorado's pretty much getting contributions up and down the lineup from everyone in their forward group. It's really, I don't know if you can pick one guy who hasn't really contributed offensively at all. So Logan O'Connor's, I think, the only forward who's played every game in the series who doesn't have a goal yet, but he does have a goal in the playoffs and has, and he's, he's a 4th line kind of guy. He doesn't score, and he's on pace to score 10 goals, right? And if it was an 80-game playoff, so there's nothing wrong with that. But if you look at the matchup specifically, and not having Brodin and not having Eriksson Ek, I think has really weakened Minnesota. There's no debate on that. And Colorado's taken advantage. Is outside of the McKinnon one, because that's Captain Obvious, has there been a matchup or a line combination that you think maybe hasn't got the credit they deserve for how well they played for Colorado in the series?
Yeah, I think the second line at times has drawn some criticism. Nelson especially has been pretty quiet in terms of offensive production in this postseason run. I think those guys have been really active defensively, though. I also think they've drawn some tough assignments just in terms of, going out against the other team's top guys there. But I've really been impressed with, Val Nichushkin and the work he's done on the forecheck and kind of some of that stuff. He's maybe not, putting up the points you'd love on that second line, but as you were talking about earlier, you're getting so much production across the board from those third and fourth lines. I think at times people kind of fixate on the lack of points too much from that second line and aren't necessarily giving them credit for all the dirty work they're doing night to night.
You look at the Wild, and hey, when you don't have Brodin, like there's really no place to replace him. Jake Middleton's doing a good job, but he's not Brodin, and their third pair, like they're basically playing 4 defensemen, right? Like Hughes played 34 minutes of 60-minute game, and I just don't see how that's sustainable for this series, right? Like, do you see any way that Minnesota can come back if they're that weak on defense that you got to play one guy 34 minutes?
I mean, crazy things happen in this sport, right? Like, we've even seen Minnesota come back from 3-1 on Colorado before, over 2 decades ago, and obviously nothing in common with these teams. But I just think it's so much burden on Hughes right now, especially offensively, to create for others. And if you can kind of limit his impact, given Minnesota's injury situation, I just think they've lacked the firepower at times. And in some sense, that's kind of a bummer. You'd love to see these two teams at full strength. Obviously, I think pretty clearly 2 of the top, 3, 4, 5, however you want to debate it, teams in the NHL. But I'm with you. I just think at some point that workload, all those miles you're putting on the tires, that's going to catch up to you. And I think you saw it late in the third, right? There were some instances where guys were getting past Hughes, where, maybe if he's playing, 26, 27 minutes instead, he's making that play.
Yeah, that's probably fair. I agree with you. Like, they're still human beings. Like, at some point, there's a limit of how well you can play at that high of a level for that long in a game. It's just a challenge that I think is that it's realistically unsustainable. The last one is you look at the Wild. How do you feel like their bottom 6? I'm reading in Minnesota, and they don't really, they think they're not adding much, and maybe it's because they're comparing it to Colorado, and everybody's scoring on Colorado. So I can understand that to a sense. But you watch every game a lot closer than I have in this series. How do you think Minnesota's bottom 6 has fared?
I mean, they've been quiet, I would say, in terms of like the opportunities that they're able to create. I don't think if you're an Avalanche fan, you're sitting there holding their breath, when they're out on the ice. Again, I think all of that gets kind of intensified given their injury situation. You're playing guys up the lineup who wouldn't be in there. And so, the more you shuffle guys around, you're going to feel that, especially the more you go down the lineup as well. But I think that's fair. And again, I think it's probably a tough comparison given how overwhelming this Colorado roster is. But I truly do feel like the depth, the difference in the middle 6 and the bottom 6, like those guys versus what Minnesota brings to the table, you really felt that in this series. Like, Hughes has been incredible. Obviously ran out of gas a little bit late in that game, but that dude's doing everything in his power. I just don't know what you're supposed to do when you're getting key goals from Parker Kelly and Nazem Kadri and some of these guys showing up.
Yeah. Like, because funny enough, the Wild have had 9 forwards. I just looked it up, score a goal in 4 games. Like that's pretty damn good. It's basically it's basically just their fourth line that hasn't scored, and not getting a goal from your fourth line in 4 games isn't like crushing, right? Foligno, McCarron, Trennan, none of them have a goal. But, I think really, to me, it comes down to more Matt Boldy. Like, Matt Boldy, for him, has been quiet. And
he has.
Do you credit like the Avs? Have you seen a matchup or anything that they're doing? Because Boldy was unreal in the opening round against Dallas with 6 goals, but he's only got 1 goal, 2 points. He's a minus player so far in the series, playing still over 21 minutes a night.
I think the Avs have done a pretty good job just in terms of keeping a body on a man and not giving him too many dangerous opportunities. They've struggled. Kaprizov's been able to walk in a few times, and he's obviously got an incredible shot. I don't know if I could point to specifically Bednar's doing this. He's deploying this specifically, with the idea of we're going to take Boldy out of the picture. But I do think of those top guys, the guys you would expect to kind of stand out for Minnesota, him not being able to kind of put his fingerprints on this series in a palpable way, they're feeling that, especially as you already mentioned, McKinnon scored, multiple goals in this series. I thought Nietzsche's played one of the better games that he's played in the postseason this past matchup. Minnesota, they need Boldy to be a threat. And right now it feels like it's just kind of all on Hughes and Kaprizov to really generate everything for him offensively.
You look at Colorado right now, and a lot of people think it's Colorado and Carolina, and I can understand why. Carolina's 8-0 and Colorado's 7-1 so far in the playoffs. Both have been pretty dominant. I look at Vegas and Anaheim, and I'm not sure I see one of those teams. It seems like a Colorado-Carolina destined Stanley Cup. Is that what you feel?
I mean, all year, those have been two of the most explosive teams, the most consistently dominant. It does feel like we're kind of on a path here or a collision course for that matchup. I will say, I mean, you can't overlook anyone in this sport, right? And I do think that Vegas is a team who's tough and I think could, challenge the Avs. But at this point, especially with what they're doing in the postseason, it feels hard to see anybody beating either of those teams 4 times. You might push them, you might, make it a series, but 4 times, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, enjoy the game tonight. We know it's going to be loud in Colorado as they try to get back to the conference final for the first time since 2022. Thanks for your time, Justin. Have a great day.
Thanks for having me on. This was a blast.
There you go. That's Justin Michael from DNVR in Colorado. The Avs, they look really good, man. Really good. And hey, they were deep. We knew that going in. They've been consistent all year long, which is why I'll still say it. And I know we got a lot of pushback. Oh, regular season doesn't matter. Even McDavid and Draisaitl admitted at the end of the year that maybe they might have taken it for granted at times, the importance of the regular season. You can build consistency and chemistry in different areas of your game during the regular season. And regardless of who the coach is next year, I would think the advantage of the new coach, because make no mistake, Nombach, unfortunately for him, is not going to be the head coach. Whoever the new coach is who comes in Edmonton, they're going to have the advantage. Players always want to impress the new coach. We saw that. Number one. Number two, they'll have a longer summer. They'll be rested. Number three, there's some pretty, losing the cup sucks for sure, but not even getting close is just like a little bit of a different wake-up call for the team. And I would expect them to have a really good start. Everyone's going to say, see, it was the coach. It was the coach. Say it right now. I don't think it's a coach. Coach has a small contribution to it, yes. But it's not the only problem. And I think we saw that. People, oh, look, they got rid of Skinner. Green light, baby. Everything's rolling. No, not always the case. Quick break. We got 5 questions, spec, and more on the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Action Electrical's projects team takes the field, folks, ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters of design, build, sketching strategy from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Summit Restaurant, located in the heart of the Silent Ice Center and just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Summit is your destination for exceptional house-made pizza, delicious entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails. Cheers. Experience the perfect blend of flavor and ambiance in a modern setting. Join us for a straightforward yet elevated dining experience where our commitment to quality speaks to every bite and sip. Make Summit Restaurant your next night on the town.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All Star Construction. And the directional drilling, hydrovacing, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep. And yep. Since 2009, All-Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All-Star Construction is all about.
Good to go. With Mortgages to Go, you'll be good to go. MortgagesToGo.ca says yes when the banks say no. That's why Alberta has trusted Mortgages to Go for over 23 years. If you need cash and have equity in your home, you're approved instantly, guaranteed. Call 1-888-888-5998. That's 1-888-888-5998. With Mortgages to Go, you'll say,
I'm good to go.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
Ready to upgrade your ride this spring? Come on down to the Golf Cart People. They're a family-owned and operated business that's been serving the community since '97. Whether you're looking for a brand new or quality pre-owned cart, a rental for a special event, they do that too. The Golf Cart People have a huge selection of parts and accessories, and their expert service team is here to keep you rolling. The Golf Cart People, your one-stop shop for everything golf cart. Visit golfcartpeople.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Or 43, rolling through Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. If you missed it, McNabb gets a one-game suspension for his hit on Ryan Poling. Last night, the Wild still do not have Brodeen and Eriksson in the lineup for tonight as they try to stave off elimination in Colorado, which will not be easy. The Avs have been pretty good lately at putting teams away when they have the opportunity to do so. Gregor Show always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, where today, the Jason Gregor Show odds boost specials have a little Jays action. Jays and Kazuma Okamoto going to get an RBI tonight. That's what we're feeling. A little Avs victory on home ice. Nathan McKinnon keeps rolling for them. And some NBA action. So check it out with some odds boost, PlayAlberta.ca. As we get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick, and you got 2 days left. The tent sale ends tomorrow. Get in there right now, man. You can get some unreal deals. You can get on scratch or dent items. And when they say scratch or dent, like I got a fridge, it's scratched like on the side. You don't even see it. It's unreal. You can get it up to 70% off, man. Some of the best deals of the year. Check it out at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, where we sit right now, if you were looking at power rankings for the Conn Smythe, how would it look 3 through 1?
Well, Carolina's got to be up there because they're already through. So I would say, I'll probably go number 1 right now for me would be Taylor Hall. He's got is averaging 1.5 points per game. He's only played 8 games, got 12 points. It's been unreal. He scored huge goals, big hits. So he'd be number 1. I would say Nathan McKinnon, number 2, and 3. 3, I might have to go with Mitch Marner.
I like it. I'll take number 1. Oh, Freddie Anderson, undefeated in the playoffs,
Oh,
1.12.
not bad. I like that one.
He's been all right. Number 2, I'm going to throw in Mitch Marner leading the points and getting some big goals, and I'll have Nathan McKinnon at 3. Obviously, we'll see how the playoffs play out here. Question number 2. Who do you think would be a good fit to be the next head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs?
Oh, God. I haven't really thought about it. Like, I'd like to know, like, what's the direction of the organization? I know a lot of people say, oh, you know what, analytics. Well, I don't know if I've spoken to a coach recently who doesn't think analytics can benefit them. But analytics are one element. They're not the only. You don't just sit there on the bench and be like, okay, well, the odds say that, you know what, we got to put this guy out because he's a 54% faceoff guy. Yeah, well, that means 46% of the time he loses. So, you know, that's part of it. But there's a feel factor. I guess it depends on what direction. Are they a team that thinks they're retooling? If so, they probably need more of a veteran coach. If they're a team that's going to rebuild and trade off some pieces, then I think you can probably get away with a younger coach. So I guess I can't answer because I don't know what the direction of their team is. I think the coach hire will probably tell us the direction of the team. I know that Keith Pelly said, oh, we're not trying to, we're not just going to throw the season away or whatever. Okay. I don't know if that necessarily means like they don't have a first round of the next 2 years. So some would say maybe they can't, but I could say, well, you can recoup those picks or who knows. They'll probably retool. So I'll say they'll hire a coach like maybe Laviolette. Or I could see them trying to go after a guy like Carl. But if I was Carl, I wouldn't leave Denver to go to Toronto. I just wouldn't do it because I'm not certain that organization, with all the pressure that's going to be in the organization, can win.
I'm with you. I mean, we got to wait and see, I guess, what direction they are going to go. I wonder if Cassidy will be someone they'll look at. I'm sure they will. I'm going to just say Jay Woodcroft. Man the bench from a hockey mad city like Edmonton, goes down to Anaheim, learns under Quenneville. They're going on a bit of a run here. Let's throw out the name Jay Woodcroft. Question 3 for you. And I'm going to bring Declan in because I was not down at Elks practice, but you both were. So I want to ask you guys, was there anyone today that stood out to you during training camp?
Go ahead, Deck.
Today was a little different because obviously, pads, intensity was down a little bit. But just kind of as a tail off from yesterday and a guy who still kind of brings it at 100% level, I would say Ladarius Tennyson. DB, played at some big schools in college, American guy, rookie, but I really liked what I saw from him.
Yeah, he's right. It was hard today to evaluate any guys because there wasn't a lot of contact or anything. The one position that I'm watching very closely is the offensive line. And so I'm going to just say the unit of the O-line because they've got 3 new starters and O'Donnell came in late last year. So, it's 4. The center position is the only guy who was going to be a full-time guy here last year. So I'll just say the O-line overall, like even in the drills they did, they just look much more mobile and quick, and they're still big.
All right. Question number 4. Give me your top 3 picks to win the PGA Championship this year.
Wow. Are we going like I can just pick the ones easily? Like, I don't know. It's kind of lame if I'm picking Rory and Scheffler, but they're pretty good. So I'll say Schauffele just because I like having him in top 3. I will say Scheffler and Tommy Fleetwood.
All right. I didn't take Scheffler for the Masters, but I did take Rory. So I was happy to see him get back in there. So he's kind of like my obvious pick, but I'll go Gary Woodland, Cameron Young, Bryson DeChambeau, and my long shot, Jordan Spieth, to get back on top. Question number 5 for you today is National Nurses Day. So shout out to all the nurses out there, amazing professionals. In honor of that, Gregor, if you had to work in the medical field, what kind of job would you like to do and or be best suited to do?
Oh, man. In the medical field?
Yeah.
Ooh. Like, I'm not scared of blood or anything like that. So that, surgery wouldn't scare me. I don't know if I'd be good enough to do it though, right? Like I can't draw a straight line through there. I just couldn't see myself in there having to make some real perfect, like incision or anything like that. So I don't think I'd be good at that part of it. I'd probably, you know what? I would like to be the EMT to drive the ambulance super fast. I've had a few times in my life I can drive fast. Not scared of being on the scene because there, you know what? Like you still have to make quick second decisions, but I'm not providing any surgery, so I'd probably have to go with them.
Yeah, like I'd love to say top surgeon. That'd be really cool, but I don't think I could handle it. The blood and such would probably get to me. I think it'd be cool to work in like a rehab facility, physical, helping guys get back, helping them walk again. I think I'm pretty patient, so I could deal with that sort of thing and getting them there. But I think that'd be a rewarding profession to help people get back on their feet.
All right. Nothing wrong with that. I have ultimate respect for people who work in the medical field and doctors and nurses and orderlies and everybody in there. It can be, I would think now when you consider that, there's a real shortage of facilities and rooms as our population has grown significantly, that I could just imagine the stress that a lot of those people live under every day. Not even if you had lots of beds, I think it'd still probably be a stressful job, but stressful jobs aren't necessarily always bad, but it would be a tough one. Like caregivers for, even my father-in-law, he got made, and I'd recommend that to anyone. And the whole scenario, the nurse and the doctor came over, like this, their empathy and how they treated him and the family was amazing. So even, people like that is, that'd be a tough job too, right? Like people are saying goodbye. It was his choice and it was, it was the right time. He had stage 4 prostate cancer and everything. But that was one that really, listening to my wife talk about just how they were treated by the nurse and doctor in that moment was amazing. I think your bedside manner would have to be pretty special at that point. And empathy would have to be high on your list of good personal traits. So kudos to everybody in the medical field, man. That is the tough gig. There's a lot of jobs that I respect. I'm trying to think, is there a job that I wouldn't, well, there's lots of jobs I wouldn't want to do. I don't know if I could say I necessarily don't respect it. I have a hard time with people who call you just randomly. Hard job, but I don't love it. Like someone coming to my house to try to sell me encyclopedias wouldn't bother me as much as those constant calls. That kind of annoying. So kind of where I'd go. Hey, Gregor, you're a vet. No. But keep in mind when, and I've done lots of things on cows, and I was able to do the incision on the cesarean, but not sew it up. And no offense to a cesarean on the cow, it wasn't like my straight line was perfectly straight. We're not talking surgery here on, like a little aorta or a ventricle, and it's like very, very small, right? Like, you got to shave the cow's hide on the side, and then you make the cut. And obviously you got to know where you're doing it. I had the vet there. I just really appreciate them letting me, do with it. I'd taken some courses, but no. That is not the, I couldn't do this. I couldn't finish it, right? I wasn't good enough yet to do that. So I wouldn't, don't ever mislead anyone. Never said I was a vet. Took some courses, loved it. All right. Preg testing, all those sorts of things, vaccination, no problem. That stuff, fine. But none, never did any serious surgery on an animal. And hey, I love animals, but I think surgery on a human being would be a little bit more precise, I would think. Anyway, I don't know. You're I'm guessing when you're having a cesarean on a human being, you know what? You don't want to be kind of, the Jason Gregor. Oh, geez, that line's not straight. I couldn't do that. So,
what do you think Strutty would have got into?
Dude, nothing. The guy's scared of blood, man. There is no chance. He, you know what? We say that jokingly, and I love how he fires up people about that he's pre-med, but let's be honest. Strutty, he couldn't do it, man. He's Niles Crane. He would pass out if he sees blood. So he couldn't do anything like that. Now, where Strutty would be good at was if he could be in the welcoming committee, the person that just comes around and checks on you. Hey, is everything good? Make small talk. He would be excellent at that. But anything with surgery, I think he would be the first one to tell you. No chance. I don't think there's any chance he could perform surgery. We'll ask him next Tuesday. But I think realistically, I don't think he could do it.
That's a good call by you, though. Strutty walks into the room, lightens the mood, chats you up. Your doctor will be right here.
Yes. Yeah.
I'll get out here.
Sure. He could be a male nurse. I don't think that'd probably be any problem. He's not doing any surgery. Right? I think he'd be good with that. Give you a few laughs. I mean, have people, he would take the edge off a little bit. I'm sure some people, it can be a little stressful time right before surgery. Right? Strutty would be, he'd be the nurse in there, he'd give you laughing gas, take one of his own just to lighten the mood. I could see it doing that for sure. So, hey, Greg's, I work in a lot of hospitals in Western Canada. You're right to appreciate the healthcare people. Unfortunately, there just isn't enough of them. They sure deal with some heavy stuff. From what I can see, keep a pretty positive attitude. They care about their patients. 100%. I don't think you can last in that if you don't care about your patients. No question. And I'm sure, we could have probably a whole episode talking to people in the in healthcare who deal with people, whether it's, you deal with seniors who you lose, or infants who you lose, or anybody, right, comes in with some serious accidents and you think they're maybe on the road to recovery and something goes wrong. Like, that would be very, very difficult to deal with. No question. Take a break. When we come back, Mark Spector. Now, the end of the day is not here yet. We'll see, though. Will Spec's prediction come to fruition? Hey, like I said yesterday, I thought this is, unfortunately for the Edmonton Oilers and Knobloch, this is not something you can walk back now. Like, the old the horse is out of the barn. Can't really pull it back in now. Away they go. So they will just have to hope that they can get their permission, speak to Cassidy, and move forward. If that's obviously one of the guys that they would like. But when they do announce a firing of Chris Knobloch, at that point, do a good search. You can benefit for your organization at that point. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. And the wait is over. For all of you, 0% financing on heavy-duty trucks right now. And it's for all half tons. 0% off financing right now at northgategm.com.
The Sports 1440 update.
Oilers coaching update. Chris Knobloch has not yet been fired by the organization, but Mark Spector of Sportsnet reporting that he is expecting it to happen, likely by day's end. The Las Vegas Golden Knights, Braden McNabb was suspended one game for interference against Anaheim's Ryan Poehling last night. Meanwhile, the Maple Leafs earlier today firing head coach Craig Berube after 2 years and missing the playoffs last season. On the ice tonight, the Wild and Avalanche from Denver. Puck drop just after 6. Colorado leads that series 3-1 in the association. From Detroit, it's Pistons in Cleveland. That series tied at 2 games apiece. And in the majors, Blue Jays are in action once again, trying to take down the Rays. First pitch, 5:07. We'll join that one in progress here on Sports 1440 AM feed only. Couple games underway right now. Reds lead the Nationals 1-0 in the bottom of the first. And heading into the second, Phillies and Red Sox are scoreless. Later tonight, Milwaukee hosting San Diego. The Diamondbacks take on the Rangers. Astros host the Mariners. While the Giants up against the Dodgers. Earlier today was the Orioles over the Yankees 7-0. And the Angels fall to Cleveland 4-2. PWHL announcing 2 new franchises today. Hamilton and Las Vegas will join the league next season, joining Detroit. 1 more franchise expected to be announced to bring the league total to 12 teams. Coming up in Hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet. We'll hear Cam Tate's 2-minute warning and get to the stats of the day. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free Radio Player app and listen wherever you go.
Say hello to your new favorite drinks. Introducing new McCafe Refreshers. Icy cool, undeniably refreshing, and available in 3 flavors. Strawberry watermelon, mango pineapple, and blackberry passion fruit. Only at McDonald's.
There's still time to book your tournament at the Ranch Golf and Country Club.
As one of Alberta's top tourney courses, the Ranch makes hosting fun and easy for any group or business. No matter how unique or unusual, they'll accommodate your vision for an event no one will soon forget.
Start planning your tournament today at their beautifully landscaped course on the outskirts of West Edmonton. On-site event coordinators are here to help, but hurry, availability is limited and booking fast.
Visit theranchgolf.com.
The tents are up and the deals are out. The Brick's biggest sale of the season is on now. Take up to 60% off clearance items in the tents. Sofas start at $3.99 and save up to 50% on select mattresses. Get a sofa, coffee table, mattress, bed frame, and dining set, all for less than $1,500. Only at the Brick's tent sale. See in store for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
From the first pitch to the final out, catch Toronto Blue Jays baseball games live right here. Don't miss a moment of Blue Jays baseball this season. Sports 1440 is proud to be the home of Blue Jays baseball.
Fuel prices got you down? Subaru's here to pick you up. Subaru's electric and hybrid vehicles will save the day, helping you go further for less. Prefer a gas vehicle? Subaru Crosstrek and Impreza are built to keep costs low without sacrificing capability. Crosstrek was named 2025 Auto Trader Best Subcompact SUV, and Impreza has earned top safety pick recognition for 17 years running. Welcome to Uncommon.
Yeah.
Welcome to Subaru. Visit Subaru.ca.
Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, Jersey barriers and aggregates. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned, over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete Products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Jap Machinery. Big jobs, tight spaces, serious reliability. Emerald Equipment is now your local Yanmar dealer. Compact track loaders, mini excavators, wheel loaders, tough, reliable machines built for any job. JapMachinery.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Rolling through after 5 o'clock. How are you? Made it through hump day. Good for you. Now you got 2 days and then it's a long weekend. Man, who doesn't love a long weekend? Hopefully you get a long weekend. Some of you have to work, so kudos to you who have to work. But for the majority of people who get it off, enjoy the time. Enjoy the extra day off. It is always welcome. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440 is where you can text us. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulation online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province at PlayAlberta.ca. NHL coaching move today. There's been one for sure. Craig Berube is no longer the head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs. They will be in search of a new coach. The Edmonton Oilers, eventually they're getting a new coach. But when? Who knows? When will Chris Knobloch officially be let go? We will see. But it's probably happening sooner than later. As it's time now for the Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction, your underground infrastructure specialists. For over 50 years, they've served the community, working alongside credible people, and they're looking for more. They are hiring. gsconstruction.ca/checkout careers. As Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet joins us. Spec, good afternoon. How you doing?
Oh, not so bad. What's going on, man? We're kind of all waiting around here, huh?
Yeah, they are. I know you tweeted out earlier that you thought that by the end of the day, something would happen with Chris Knobloch, whether it's the end of the day or tomorrow. The guy had said yesterday. I think now, like, horse is out of the barn. You can't put it back in. They're going to have to make the change. Have you got any do you think eventually the NHL is, because now Toronto's going to be looking for a coach. There's, LA's looking for a coach. Edmonton's going to be looking for a coach. There is Bruce Cassidy out there amongst others that eventually Vegas, because now I know Frank's report said that it's not like they've refused it. They've just haven't given it yet. So is it just this little bit of a game by Vegas? Do you think eventually they will have permission to these other teams to interview him?
Yeah, I don't think that it would be seen as right for Vegas to say, Bruce, you can talk to the Leafs and you can talk to the Kings, but you can't talk to the Oilers. I don't think that's not the spirit of what we're doing here, right? We all agree you fired a coach. You don't want him anymore. He does have a right to go out and seek employment elsewhere. It's really not Vegas's, George McPhee or Kelly McCrimmon's right to direct the future of Bruce Cassidy's coaching career. I don't think anyone thinks that, that's fair. I think that the doors got opened up, and Bruce, like any coach, should get to go and work wherever he wants to work, apply wherever he wants to apply. I should say interview anywhere he wants to interview. This feeling that Vegas gets to control his future, after they fired him. Do you think that makes any sense whatsoever, or would stand up to any legal challenge? I think not.
Yeah, I don't see how, unless there was something wording in his contract, right? That said you can't. And I don't know if a coach would ever sign that says, hey, you know what? If we do fire you, you can't coach for a competitor in our division for a year or something. I don't know. I guess if that was in the fine print, that's the only thing I can think of, right? Because
that's fair. But I've never heard of that before.
Me neither.
I've never heard of that. Generally speaking, there is it's like a standard player's contract. There is a standard coach's contract as well. And anyway, listen, I'm just saying to you, if for some reason the Vegas Golden Knights could choose which teams Bruce Cassidy could talk to and which teams he could not, that would be the first time that I've ever heard of it in National Hockey League history. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I can't think of one, so I would be in agreement with that. So, do you think is it Cassie or bust at this point for the Oilers then?
I hope not. No, I hope not. I hope that, when you hire in season, there's not as many guys to talk to usually because everybody's working. So you generally don't get a chance to do a lot of interviews. When you hire out of season like this,
yes,
the luxury is you get to get some opinions, now, for instance, there's two veteran guys out there in Laviolette and Cassidy. And I would hope you'd take the time to interview both those guys just to, they're both smart guys. They both coached for a long time. You should learn something from both of them. Don't you think?
I've always said it, man. I'd interview lots of different, even if you think Cassie's your number one guy, great, but glean as much information as you can from other candidates. No question in my mind. I'd be considered looking at that for sure. Maybe it's Carl in Denver. Who knows if he even wants to do it, right? Craig Berube, Peter Laviolette. There's lots of other coaches that, there's some other young coaches that are doing really good work in the American League as well.
No, the Oilers don't. They've gone to two young coaches in their last two hires, Jay Woodcroft and Chris Knobloch. It was their first NHL head coaching gigs. This team needs one of the aforementioned. They need a veteran guy that could come in and run this dressing room and run this team. I don't believe for a minute they're going to hire a first-time guy. I'm not saying Carl's not going to be a great coach for a long time. Maybe he will be, or some guy out of the AHL, but I don't see that here. No. Do you?
I'd be surprised, right? I would think the last two coaches hired in Edmonton were coaches who weren't NHL coaches before. I'd be stunned if the next head coach in Edmonton wasn't a coach with previous NHL experience. Not that guarantees you more success, because as I've outlined, when I look at the three longest, the 5 longest serving NHL head coaches, none of them had previous NHL experience. So, you don't have to have it to have success.
Yeah.
But I think
This-
for this group now, the pressure is immense in Edmonton, and some of it I think the Oilers, and I've talked about this with Vancouver. I think Vancouver had a lot of dysfunction internally. I think Edmonton slowly is veering in that direction, and they gotta pull the reins back on that.
Yep.
And they need to turn the temperature down on their internal pressure. Of course you want to win, but wanting to win more isn't healthy and likely isn't as productive. Like, have a plan, be prepared, be calm about it, and don't overreact.
Absolutely. And you, what you need is a coach that has a very strong and a plan that obviously, you trust and that should work. And you need players that get out of his way and let the plan work. Right. This, you can't have mid-game superstar players looking over their shoulder like, get me out there, when the coach's plan is to play certain guys certain minutes. Let him execute his plan. You can't have pressure from within the team to say, I need more shifts, or this young player that you've put in the top 6 and you want to put him in there for, let's say you want to give a young guy a 3-week run, like, I don't know, let's say a Savoy or a Howard, 2 games, 3 games, 4 games in. You can't have the rest of some players quitting on that, saying, oh, it's not working.
Yeah.
It's not how, the coach coaches and the players play. And I think this team needs a solid dose of that.
Yes, I think that you need more people, whatever their lane is, stay in their lane.
Mm-hmm.
Right? At any job, anybody listening out there knows, heck, in any relationship, if you got somebody who's a micromanager or tries to step out of their lane, it just causes more problems, right?
Yep.
Players should play. Players aren't scouts. Players aren't evaluators. It's not their job, right? You could, sure, if you want to ask an opinion on it, but I can tell you right now that the players' opinion, they've been wrong before. Some of them didn't think Broberg was going to be a guy in their own room.
Yep.
So if you want to just blindly believe all your players that they're going to be the evaluators of your team, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, no. Like, I think you make the point. Everyone's good at what they do. Hire good people and get out of their way. Let a guy hire a good coach and let him coach. The GM shouldn't be telling the coach who to ice. The president shouldn't be telling the GM who to trade for, and the owner shouldn't be telling everybody what to do every minute of the day. And we've seen all different situations in different cities. We all heard the story about Rick Tocchet getting a text or a phone call from their owner back in Vancouver asking him who's playing tonight and who should be playing. And that's just dysfunctional, right? You can't operate that way. So, and I'm not saying that's going on in Edmonton. I'm not saying that. But there is an element, if it's hard enough, Jay, it's hard enough to win when everybody's pulling in the same direction, right? It's still really hard to win. The minute you get some guys maybe that aren't pulling in the same direction or trying to pull for you, maybe it gets impossible to win.
Yeah, Mark Spector joins us from Rogers Sportsnet. What'd you make of the McNabb hit last night?
It's, you know what? It's a late hit for sure. A really, really hard hit. I've always loved Braden McNabb, and he's not a dirty player. He's hard, tough, rough defenseman. But Poehling has a long history here of concussions, and he was in a very, very, very bad way. Like, there was no question in the officials' eyes that Anaheim was losing Poehling for the rest of that game. He was not coming back. So for them to throw McNabb out, I think, was totally fair. You illegally knock my player out of the game. It's like that. Who was the cat from the defenseman from Vancouver that knocked out in the 2011 Cup? I can't remember the defenseman's name.
Oh God. Right at center ice. Oh God, what was his name? Anyway, Nathan Horton was the guy who got hit.
He was, yes. Yeah. And my point would be,
as like a third pair defenseman for
Vancouver. Yeah, I forget his name. Why do I? But anyway, the point was Horton was gone for the series, and so was that defenseman. And to me, that was a good trade for Vancouver, and it was fair ball. Last night, McNabb knocks out Poehling, and he ain't coming back. And I'm fine with him not coming back in the game. They give him another game suspension, and I would say to you that, like, I'll be surprised. I mean, I'm no doctor and I don't know what's going on here, but my history with these things, and probably yours too, Jason, is when you have a guy that's missed a bunch of games in his career with concussions, as Poehling has, and you see him go off the ice like he went off last night, we won't see him playing again very soon. So yes, if I'm Anaheim, I feel like McNabb should get at least one more game. I'm totally okay with that. What do you think?
Oh, I had no problem with it. I'm not one who really, hey, you know what? If you get kicked out of the game in the first period, well, that classifies as a game. But if you do the hit in the third period, well, then you should get another game. I'm like, no, like there's no, like there shouldn't be a timeline on is it a suspension of a game? Yes or no? Not based on the time you delivered the hit.
That doesn't matter.
But some people try to argue, oh, well, you know what? He missed most of this game, so that's already won. I'm like, no, he got kicked out of that game. Has nothing to do with suspension.
I mean, that's what makes it tricky, is because there have been situations where the victim, limps off the ice, they throw a guy out of the game, and he's out for the power play. The victim's out for the power play, and you go, oh yeah, what's going on here? But that is not the case here. Poehling was not coming back in that game. There was no question about that. And like I say, obviously, I don't think we'll see him in the series. So anyway, we beat up on player safety quite a bit. I know we do. And rightfully so a lot of the time, but I think they got that right.
Oh yeah, I don't think there's much debate on that. What did you make of that Montreal Buffalo game? It was like the longest review ever. Terrible. Oh. And like, I don't know if maybe it's just me. I can't be just me. Like, what's up with like the high stick epidemic that's going on right now in the NHL? Like, guys are like, do they not know how to carry their stick? Like, what's happened here?
I don't know. It has become an epidemic. It really has. There's so many guys just throw their sticks around with zero regard for other guys' teeth and face. Like, I don't know. I don't get it. I always grew up in an era where, like obviously I'm not trying to say I played at that level. I never did. But you made sure you didn't take a guy's eye out when you played hockey or his teeth. No one wants to go home and straight to the dentist chair. So I don't know. It doesn't seem like these guys could care less. Maybe it's just how fast the game's happening now, Jay. Maybe it's just the increased speed of the game, that things are going on that didn't used to happen because the game used to be slower. That's all I can think of. But I would like to see, this goes along with respect for your fellow player, right? To me, it does. And less respect for your fellow player, more and more high sticks in the face. Like, it's crazy how many there are. And we ask referees and officials to catch every one of them. Oh my God, it happens so fast. Now you get some guys faking it. Like, it's a tough one to be an official.
Yeah, the faking's brutal. It was Aaron Rome from
Aaron Rome. Thank you, Aaron Rome.
And, as well as Jordan.
Nathan Horton.
Yeah, and Tura and a few others mentioned it.
It was a headshot.
God, no. That was a blatant one. There was not much debate about it. That Buffalo game, though, they got, the long delay, I didn't love it. Like, to me, I was like, why is the first one taking so long? It was clear the puck was in the net. I thought that was very simple. And then
the gloved one, the one in his glove.
Yeah, it was clearly his glove was in the net. That should have been a look at it once. Okay, good. I saw it in real time. Like, that's a goal. What are we waiting on?
Well,
and then, no, I don't think well. It's like, don't overthink. It was clearly in. Like, if idiots like us can see it at home, like, it's clearly in the net. The glove's behind the blade. What are we waiting 5 minutes for? Like, that makes no sense to me. And then you turn into review it again. Like, there's got to be a better way to be like, let's review this and look at everything else at the same time. So if the other team challenges, we can say, yes, we've already looked at that. Yes, it's a goalie interference. No, it's not goalie interference. Move on. But a 12-minute delay, it's just not good.
No, I agree. And I think that we have to be able to get to some type of, tennis has its, like, I'm just talking about puck crossing the line now. I'm not talking about goalie interference. I don't think there's any technology for that. But for puck over line, I think we need to get to where tennis is at or baseball is at, where like tennis has that Hawkeye technology. And when a player says, I challenge that call, it comes up on the scoreboard. Everybody accepts whatever Hawkeye says. And same now with the strike zone in Major League Baseball, right? It's working great. Guy taps his helmet. Within 6 seconds, we were watching that ball. It bites the corner by a millisecond or a millimeter, and we all accept. That technology is what we're going to accept. And I think hockey, I can't believe I've heard Bill Daly say hockey's different because there's sticks and gloves and people skating around and blah, blah, blah. But there has to be some version of technology in hockey that we can roll out and say, look, even if it's 99.5%, and there's a 0.5% that's not perfect, we all agree we're going to accept it. We're all in hockey. We're going to say we're going to accept this technology. It's going to take 30 seconds to see if it was puck over line, and that's what we're going to do. That Jari one that, slept between his legs in Anaheim, that was, we all said, yeah, it looks like it was in, but you never did see the puck in, and it just left too much doubt and left a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. There's got to be a technical way around this, doesn't there, Jay? I mean, come on.
Yes, I would agree wholeheartedly. I would like to think that it happens. So we'll see. Lastly, the Colorado Avalanche. Like, are we just delaying the inevitable? Should we just fast forward? Is it Carolina, Colorado automatically?
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I think so. Yes, I do think so. I think Carolina is, oh my God, I love their team. I love the way they play as a team, right? I love the way they play as a team. I said this in your show before. I'm going to say it again. When they came through Edmonton, that was the best systems team I'd seen all season by a country mile. Like, they came into Edmonton and dissected the Oilers in clinical fashion. I love the way they play. And then you got Colorado come on. I mean, Nate's on a tear, and they got goaltending, and look at how cool they're up 3-2 with a minute left. The other guy's got the goalie pulled. I noticed Kulak is hopping over the boards and playing. I'm sure every Oilers fan noticed that too. So both those teams are awesome, and it would be a killer great Stanley Cup final if they make it. I got no problem with it, Jay, man. Hockey's in good shape if those are the kind of teams that are getting to the final, because they both play the right way and they're fun to watch.
Spec, have yourself a good day.
What do you think, bud?
We'll see, buddy. Now, was end of the day midnight for you, or what do you think?
Well, it stays late out here in the West.
No, I'm talking about your tweet. Like, when you saw it maybe
light.
by
It stays light.
So,
hey, listen. You know what? I'll tell you right now, for anyone listening, they can whatever. I just checked my tweet when we were talking. It was 11:37, and the people I talked to said it's happening today. Yeah. If they change their mind, if something went awry and it doesn't happen today, you can call me a dummy. But
oh no, dude, I don't trust me. I'm not surprised at all. I said yesterday, this is inevitable, whether it's today or tomorrow.
It should happen. Like, I also feel. I feel sorry for Chris Knobloch. This is ridiculous that he's being asked to hang around. And, I'm sure he's getting texts, and I'm sure people are, imagine his family. What are we doing here? Well, I don't know. I'm kind of hanging in the wind. Like, it's not right what's going on here. I'll take blame if they don't do it today. I will say to you that I was wrong. I don't mind saying that. I've said it before. But I'll also say to you that the Oilers should do the right thing and get this over with.
Yeah, 100%. Spec, have a good one. We'll chat with you at May.
All right. Sounds good, brother.
It's Mark Specker, the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. We got stats of the day, Cam Tate, lots more to get to. Lots of text flying in, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
With Play Alberta, backing the home team goes beyond the bets. That's because your picks have provincial impact. Play Alberta is the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. By investing in the General Revenue Fund, every play, bet, and buy made on Play Alberta helps make a difference across the province. It feels good to know your fund goes further at home. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
New at Papa John's, the spinach Alfredo chicken tomato pizza. Say it with me now. Spinach Alfredo sauce, grilled chicken, fresh Roma tomatoes, all on our fresh, never frozen pizza dough. 4 favorites, 1 pizza. So let's run it back. The spinach Alfredo chicken tomato pizza. Right now, a large for just $18.99. Delivery or carry out. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Diamond Rides is one of Alberta's premier specialty charter companies. With our luxury motor coaches, we provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation services. Our seatbelt equipped, top-of-the-line motor coaches have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel needs across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact sales at 877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
Mr. Rooter gets attacked by a Canada goose.
Oh, look at that. Another on-time arrival. Nothing stops Mr. Rooter from plumbing on schedule. You gotta be kidding me. Hello, Mr. Goose. I'm Mr. Rooter. Okay, this is what you train for. Through rain, sleet, or goose, the pipes get fixed.
For a plumber who does whatever it takes, Mr. Rooter.
The sun's out, the pavement's warm, and that low rumble of a Harley rolling by? Oh yeah, that's calling your name. This is riding season, and if you've been thinking about a new ride, Harley-Davidson of Edmonton has the one that'll get your heart pumping. With a huge selection of new and pre-owned bikes, there's one waiting for you. Whether you're upgrading or just getting started. And while you're there, ask about test rides, because the only way to know is to ride it. For more details, visit Harley-Davidson of Edmonton on the Yellowhead Trail, locally owned and operated since 1980, or at hdedmonton.com.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All-Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All-Star Construction. And the directional drilling, hydrovacking, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep. Since 2009, All-Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All-Star Construction is all about.
My, this sushi is just exquisite.
And I am obsessed with these crab legs.
You must have spent the whole day in the kitchen preparing this feast for us. Or did I?
Entertaining with unbelievable ease. The secret is catch of the week.
So you're telling me you were able to buy a ready-to-serve platter that is this fresh?
Catch of the week, Edmonton's best seafood. Just off the Henday in Capilano, only 5 minutes from Sherwood Park. Details and directions online at catchoftheweekedmonton.com.
Welcome back to Nissan Head to Head. Today, we've got Nissan Kicks coming in strong as a leader in fuel efficiency for gas-only CUVs. Some of the other guys respond with a wallet-breaking detour to the pumps. Hats off to Nissan's fuel-efficient Japanese engineering. Right now, finance a Nissan Kicks for 0% for 36 months. Visit nissan.ca for details. Conditions apply.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Mortgages to Go. Need cash and have equity in your home? Mortgages to Go has you covered. When the bank says no, they say yes. They've been doing it in Alberta for over 23 years. Call 1-888-888-5998 or visit mortgagestogo.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Oh, oldie but a goodie. That is a classic song. How are you? Welcome back. Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Thanks always for listening. Thanks for watching the program. It's brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province at PlayAlberta.ca. And if you missed it, actually, no, we'll get to it in a second in our stats of the day, which are always brought to you by All-Star Construction. We'll get to that in a second. We got a few texts flying in 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, Greg's, when they finally announced the firing of Knobloch, how long before you think they hire a new coach? Wow. I don't think they're going to rush into it. I think they're going to have to interview coaches, right? I would hope you wouldn't just interview one. I guess they could, and they're not. So it's impossible for me to give an accurate timeline because obviously they want to speak to Bruce Cassidy, and I think that the NHL will make that happen at some point. Vegas might have to be have their arm twisted a little bit to make it happen, but I think eventually that'll happen. So, in the meantime, you can interview other coaches, and I'm sure now they're going to be looking to find out, Peter Laviolette, Craig Berube. I think Carl, young coach in Denver, Colorado at NCAA, like he is considered a really good coach. Now he has a fantastic situation, but make no mistake, the minute Chris Knobloch is officially let go by the Edmonton Oilers, I would not be surprised if Stan Bowman's phone starts lighting up from people interested and wanting to interview for that job. It's going to be one of the most sought after jobs available. You get the chance to coach McDavid. You get the chance to coach Draisaitl. You're inheriting a team that has lots of good players. They underachieved this year. Make no mistake, that who wouldn't want the opportunity? Because when you take a coaching job, you want to feel like, hey, I think this team has a chance to win. I think they look at their team and think, and the coach can say, you know what? Yeah, they haven't won, but I think I can make a few changes here, and can help us win. Right? Most fans think that. They're like, hey, you know what? You get rid of Knobloch, we'll win. And maybe that's the case. I don't think it's just the coach, though. Other things are going to have to happen. But there will be a long list of people who would sign up for that job. Make no mistake about it. It is like if you had every coach fired, let's say at the end of this regular season, and you listed, okay, which jobs would be the most intriguing, and if you look at the average shelf life of a coach is 3 years. Now, we could get into that, and I will touch it, and we've done it once, but we could get into it again. Edmonton would be top 5 most appealing situations to take. Hands down. Because of their roster. Right? They would be. Colorado would be up there. Now, Carolina, I think Rod Brindamore has really helped set a culture there. It's not just him, but he plays a big role in it. So would a new coach be able to get the same? I don't know. I like their roster a lot, but it doesn't have the top end guys. And ultimately at the end, like maybe this is the year they win in the third round. Right? But they have yet to be able to. So I think Edmonton would be there. Colorado. Who else would be top 5 rosters right now today? Well, that's a good question. Now that I threw it out there, I would, I think Minnesota would be close. And who else? Montreal, I think, would be up there. When you look at the age and you look at the contract situation, that's the other thing for the Oilers is like they don't have anybody coming that's going to get a huge raise. Now they have some players that maybe are a little bit overpriced right now, to put it mildly. Yeah, so I think those would be the ones. Yeah, Edmonton, regardless of whether there's 3 openings or 32 openings, it'd be one that a lot of coaches would be, hey, that would be first on my list. And you throw in the fact, and Bruce Cassidy said it, and he's 100% right. The allure and the challenge and the opportunity to be the head coach to help bring the Stanley Cup to a Canadian franchise would be massive. Right? You'd want to do it. And you'd want to be the coach. If you win a cup on Connor McDavid's team, and he finally wins a cup, and we know there's lots of pressure when we win the cup, you'll always be remembered because of it. So, yeah. It would be a very good opportunity. Now, hey, Greg, you said the shelf life is 3 years. Here's the thing, though. That's what historically has been, but that doesn't make it right. See, that's the thing. I think good organizations, they don't follow the average. And why do you want to be average? Oh, the average shelf life is 3 years. All right, we'll do that. Well, Knobloch didn't even get full 3 years, just for the record. But, and I outlined this before, remember, John Cooper is the longest serving head coach in the NHL since 2013. It's really since the 2013-14 season because he got hired in March of 13. So what do you have, like 8-10 games at the end of that year? But Oh, no, that would have been a little bit more because that would have been the 2013. That would have been the lockout shortened season. So, but they weren't making the playoffs that year, and they got rid of their coach. But since then, no one has more playoff victories than Tampa Bay. From the time he got hired, 2013-14 till now, the organization with the most playoff wins, Tampa Bay. They have 2 Stanley Cups, but they've had a lot of success. Then you fast forward, who's the next longest serving coach? Jared Bednar. Now, he got hired late in August when Patrick Waugh resigned because he felt he didn't have enough say in the decision-making, which we can have a whole discussion about that. But guess what? From the time he's been hired and his first year, they were brutal, right? They were brutal. They won 22 games his first year as a head coach. Some people would have said, we got to fire the coach. They didn't. And now look, since he's been in, currently right now, they got the second most wins. If they make it to the Cup final, they'll have the most. Third longest tenured head coach? Oh, Rod Brindamore. Carolina, right now, second most playoff wins since he's been hired. And guess what? If they go to the Cup final, now if it's against Colorado, they'll be 1-2. So then you go to Marty St. Louis and look at Montreal. They're going in the right direction. But I always like to outline, because everybody says, well, look at Chris Knobloch. Clearly, because text in, he's lost the room. What is like that gets thrown around all the time. He's lost the room. Based on what? Because they lost in the first round? Okay. After being in the Cup? Well, let's look at John Cooper's coaching. First year, losing the first round. Okay. Made the playoffs. Good. Second year, all the way to Cup final, lose. Pretty successful year. Third season, well, now we lost in the conference final. Pretty good, but a little bit of a step back. What happened in year 4? Oh, missed the playoffs. No one said he lost the room. Well, actually, people did. I Googled it. You got to get rid of the coach because it's the easy thing to do when you're frustrated. But they didn't do it. Year 5, get to the conference final again, lose. Year 6, greatest regular season record in the NHL history to that point. Most wins, 62. Boston beat it a few years later. Didn't even win a playoff game. So that's 6 years, losing the first round twice, don't make the playoffs one time. How many other organizations would have fired him right then? We just had the greatest regular season. We didn't even win a playoff game. People do it all the time. But they didn't, and then they won 2 cups. Stability is important. Continuity is important. And it's funny how we say the average is 3 years, but then you look at the teams that are the most successful right now, and they're the 3 longest tenured teams. So maybe continuity would be better. Yeah, Chris Knobloch didn't have his best year. It's fair to say that. Doesn't mean he should be fired. Oh, he had a down year. Let's fire him. You're going to get rid of all the players at a down year? Lots of guys had a down year, including some of their best players defensively. Real down year. Leon Draisaitl wasn't close to the guy who was a Selke 6th place finisher the year before. Connor McDavid wasn't close to as good 5-on-5. And I'm talking before the injury. No one in their right mind would get rid of them. So I just because it's the average doesn't mean it's right. Right? Group think usually leads to less success, my opinion. I try to think outside the, geez, what are we doing different? What do these successful franchises do? Oh, continuity. Maybe something to think about. But that's how I get. Now, let's get to our stats of the day, brought to you by All-Star Construction, founded in 2009. Not only have they become great in the industry they work at, but they also give back tons of community, huge on supporting cancer research and more. That is All-Star Construction. And some stats of the day today, if you missed it, young Matthew Schaefer. Now, the votes haven't come up, but this is going to be close to a unanimous decision, is it not? But Matthew Schaefer, this was the easiest vote of the year for any of the player awards. No question in my mind. That was a no-brainer. As young Schaefer comes in, he ties an NHL record for most goals in a season by a rookie defender with 23, tied Brian Leetch, who had 23 back in 1989. He had 8 power play goals. He had 15 at even strength, 4 game-winning goals, which is 3 more than what Brian Leach had. So would that have been a tie? I'm kidding, but he did have more even strength goals. And just a solid season for Schaefer, who finished with 59 points, which is 11th most all time for rookie defenders in points. His 41 even strength points are the most ever by a rookie defender. Like, he had an unbelievable season. So kudos to him. We mentioned the stats yesterday. It's now 20 games, no home runs for Vladdy Guerrero. Only 2 extra base hits in 20 games, one of the worst droughts. And did you notice last night, Cons? We talked about it yesterday. The big dumper, Cal Raleigh, his streak ended. He got a hit yesterday. He got it up to 0 for 38 and then finally ended it. Got a hit. That was obviously the longest drought of his career, the second longest drought of any player. He went into that game with the second worst batting average in all of Major League Baseball amongst qualified hitters. So that ends last night for him. Other news to look at, if you're looking at games in the playoffs tonight, talk about complete Jekyll or Hyde. At home, perfect. Can't beat them. On the road, might as well not even show up. That's the Cleveland Cavaliers. 6-0 at home, 0-5 on the road. They're on the road tonight, Connor Halley. So if you're thinking that they could end it, well, good for you. Also, LeBron James's season ended with the Lakers getting swept by the Thunder. The guy's had an unbelievable career. There's no one stat that I think defines his career. Like, he's elite of elite. There's no doubt about that. I think he's top 2, top 3 players of all time. I still put Michael Jordan ahead of him because Michael Jordan won more. Michael Jordan was a killer. Michael Jordan was also Defensive Player of the Year multiple times. But LeBron James, longevity, everything. So, Cons, today, just for fun and numbers, is he a Laker next year or is he playing a different team?
I'm going to say Laker next year.
It's going to go back to LA.
Hang around with Luka. Give it another run. Yeah. Another year in Los Angeles.
All right.
What do you think?
I don't know. I have a sneaking suspicion that he might go elsewhere. Just, I don't know. I wonder if the Lakers we got to make this Luka's team. You always hear that. I'm not saying it's right or not, but I think there'd be a lot of teams that would look and say, hey, like, he doesn't necessarily have to be that. Like, if he's your number 2 or your number 3, like, you got a really good team. So I think he'd like to win again. And I don't know if he thinks he can win there. So I wonder if that play. So I'm going to say no. I'm going to take the field, which is easy, but I'll take the field that he's elsewhere next year. We'll come back with Cam Tate on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
New at Papa John's, the spinach Alfredo chicken tomato pizza. Say it with me now. Spinach Alfredo sauce, grilled chicken, fresh Roma tomatoes, all on our fresh, never frozen pizza dough. 4 favorites, 1 pizza. So let's run it back. The spinach Alfredo chicken tomato pizza. Right now, a large for just $18.99. Delivery or carry it. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions, take 1 for Gene Principe. Hey, thanks for being on time.
I'm always punctual. Now, how about some cool beats while I drop the heat?
Ready when you are.
Tall legacy, tall legacy.
Nice.
Boom! I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for AC season.
What's not to love with no interest and no Principe payments for 1 year?
Are you always like this?
Yep. Unlike Legacy, I never know when to cool it.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Hear that? That's your entry calling. Go Auto is sending you to the biggest football event in the world, live in Vancouver, with tickets, flights, and a hotel stay for 2. To enter the contest, just text GAME to 780-777-7777. That's GAME to 780 all 7s. Go Auto, get in the game.
The tents are up and the deals are out. The Brick's biggest sale of the season is on now. Pick up to 6% off clearance items in the tents. Sofas start at $399, and save up to 50% on select mattresses. Get a sofa, coffee table, mattress, bed frame, and dining set, all for less than $1,500. Only at the Brick's 10 cent. See in store for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
Summer, it's coming. An unstoppable force that will turn your home into the Sweatbox.
Don't live in a summer blockbuster. Pro Solutions is your one-call-solves-it-all expert for AC repairs, tune-ups, and new installations. With fast appointments and flexible financing, we'll make sure your home story has a comfortable ending. AC season is coming soon, so book today.
Lock in pre-season pricing today.
Visit prosolutionsinc.ca to schedule your service today.
Debt can take over your life. The stress, the constant worry, it can feel like you're drowning. When people come to see me, they're often anxious and feeling hopeless. But when I explain how I can help them get out of debt, those feelings melt away. I'm Parveen Middleton, licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I will create a personalized debt relief plan so you can move forward with confidence. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
Since the 1930s, the Dorchester name has been synonymous with chuck wagon racing in Alberta. And now, it's just as well known for golf. Dorchester Ranch Golf Course is open for the season. A challenging 18-hole course nestled in the rolling coulees of central Alberta. Stunning views, reasonably priced, and only 40 minutes from Edmonton on newly paved roads. Play the course built with pioneer spirit and family pride. Dorchester Ranch Golf Course. Book your tee time today at dorchestergolf.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork, made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.548. Final countdown on a lovely Wednesday afternoon. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. The Jason Gregor Show, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. NHL playoffs tonight. One game. Colorado and Minnesota puck drop coming up in about 20 minutes time. We'll also have the Blue Jays in the first pitch just a few minutes ago. They were taking on Tampa Bay. Dylan Cease on the mound. And, man, they're flying through that game. So you can listen to it right here when we get off the show. So there you go. Let's get to a 2-minute warning with Cam Tate, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home of the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC unit or your furnace at PlayAlberta.ca. At PlayAlberta. At LegacyHeating.ca. Now, Cam Tate, longtime journalist in town. Of course, Cam's born with cerebral palsy. He's in a wheelchair. He's going to slow him down. He's been a reporter for over 45 years. He's always wanted to be in radio. Now, through the wonders of technology, his words come to life in the 2-minute warning.
I do not want to write this. I don't want to waste another thought on it. I want this story to go away. Get out of here. But when a good man is wrong, done by, and disrespected in such classless and unprofessional manner, I need to speak up and say this is wrong on so many levels. You and I, we will never, ever have this conversation again. Never. If I told you even last week there would be a death watch, let that word sink in. A death watch on Chris Knobloch. You would have suggested I was nuts, out of my mind, bonkers, and so much more. A death watch. Knobloch, is he sick? No. Was he in a bad crash? Nope. Physically or mentally, he's fine. But his tenure as Edmonton Oilers head coach at this hour appears to be on life support. Did you hear the one and only Connor Halley? Top of the hour? Sports Update, one of his lead stories, stemming from a Mark Spetcore tweet, Knobloch will be fired by day's end? What's that all about? Are the Edmonton Oilers so concerned Knobloch? Putting in one more day's work, they will wait till 5 p.m. That's the deal. Stop. Please, just stop. I am compelled to reel you, in case you've been in seclusion for the past few days. Knobloch? He ain't fired. Nope. But since word snuck out the Vegas Golden Knights have refused to let the Oilers talk to Bruce Cassidy, who was indeed fired, we confirmed that, about replacing Knobloch, and the Dynamos started fall. Never in my reporting history have I heard of such a train wreck. I want to know who leaked this story, and more importantly, why. And whoever it is, they should be ashamed of themselves. Gary Bettman needs to ban them in every NHL arena for life. Chris Knobloch is probably going through hell right now. He doesn't deserve it. Oilers fans, they don't deserve it. And I am dropping this hideous story, but I need to say one more thing. Thank you, Mr. Knobloch. 2-minute warning. This is Cam Tate, Sports, 1440.
The Oilers still have yet to fire Chris Knobloch, but it will happen. It's inevitable. This is not something you're walking back from. It's just how it goes. I do want to point out one thing beforehand. As I've said, I don't think people can understand that two things can happen simultaneously. If the Oilers wanted to fire Chris Knobloch, no problem. They could have fired the coach. Coaches get fired all the time. But there's ways to go about it that are professional. And this wasn't. And stop saying, well, it happens all the time. Go read the article. I did all the research. Others can say that it happens all the time. I have the data in the hint for it that says it doesn't. Because I look at it. It doesn't. Okay? Lots of teams, when they fired their coach here out of the 32 teams, even during the season, they just hired an interim coach who was an assistant coach or their AHL head coach and just promoted him. They didn't do a search. They didn't reach out to anyone else. They just said, we're firing our coach, we make our decision, and we'll move on and hire the new guy in the offseason. 10 teams did that. Only 2 of them removed the interim head coach tag and gave the guy the head coaching tag. The rest got, in the summer, a full interview process. In the offseason teams, only one, Nashville, who hired a new general manager. Did they fire a coach and then hire his replacement right away? Meaning they'd obviously talked to him beforehand. That was a new GM. Kind of expected. So, no, it doesn't happen all the time. You can say it's no big deal, and that's fine. But claiming it's no big deal when no one else has really done it is somewhat misleading, because it is. On behalf of Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, I'm Jason Gregor. Have yourselves a wonderful Wednesday evening. Blue Jays baseball coming up after Connor Halley, and a Sports Center update brought to you by Go Auto. If you're looking for a vehicle, it's going to be a rainy weekend. Hey, go shop inside. 73 different locations, over 15,000 vehicles to choose from. GoAuto.ca. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Oilers coaching update. Chris Knobloch still not yet fired by the organization. Mark Spector reported that it is expected to happen likely by day's end. Vegas Golden Knight Braden McNabb was suspended for 1 game for interference against Anaheim's Ryan Poehling last night. On the ice tonight, just the 1 game, Wild and Avalanche from Denver. Puck drop coming up in about 10 minutes' time. Colorado leading that series 3-1. In the association, you got the Cavs and the Pistons from Detroit. That series tied at 2 games apiece. It'll get going shortly. And right now, Toronto Blue Jays and Tampa Bay Rays scoreless in the bottom of the 4th. We'll join that game in progress immediately following the upcoming commercial break. Elsewhere on the majors, Red Sox and Phillies tied at 1. Nationals and Reds tied at 5, while the Pirates lead the Rockies 3-0. Early, but the Marlins up with the Twins 2-0. Later on tonight, Rangers host the Diamondbacks, Mariners taking on the Astros, Athletics and Cards, while the Giants taking on the Dodgers. Earlier today, it was the Yankees falling to the Orioles 7-0, and the Guardians doubled up the Angels 4-2. Some news from the PWHL as they announced 2 new franchises for next season, Hamilton and Las Vegas, both going to Detroit. One more franchise is expected to be announced to bring the total to 12 for the upcoming season.